You're good on the up there?
I hit record.
Okay.
You got me second guessing myself. Hold on. me. All right. Nice growl.
You like that?
You are a singer, which I didn't quite realize. Guys, welcome to this one time. Today, my guest is James Welch, Arizona Jam.
Thanks for having me, Juan.
Yeah, no, thanks for agreeing to come on, man.
Of course. Come on now.
Yeah, you've got some interesting passions and some hobbies, but passions, I would call them, man, because you definitely dive real deep into it. So, I guess tell the folks a little bit about yourself, man.
I hate this part.
Well, let's start how we first met. All right, let's start there.
Okay,
All right,
okay.
All right. So we both worked for a Guitar Center.
Yep.
You came in as a luthier / tech guitar technician.
As a repair technician.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So I keep the two very separate. There's a luthier and there's a repair tech.
Okay.
Good repair techs are not necessarily good luthiers, and good luthiers are not necessarily good repair techs.
Oh, because so you could kind of create a nice, a work of art or an instrument, but then it takes a really good repair tech to kind of like
different skill sets.
Yeah,
it's different skill sets. So there's different aspects to it that really are a part of doing repair.
Maybe like an engineer and a mechanic at that point.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So they're not mutually exclusive. So when I was at Guitar Center, I was a repair tech. Okay. Now I am a certified luthier through Roberto-Venn School of Luthiery here in Phoenix.
In Phoenix, right? It's a big school. They're really world known.
It is world known, and I believe it's the oldest running guitar building school in the U.S.
What?
Yeah, I think they started back in the early 70s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's still running. Wow. Man.
Yeah, they're still going.
Yeah, AZ, man. That's cool. Yeah. So when did you graduate from there?
January of 2014.
Okay.
And I started with Guitar Center February of 2014.
Oh, damn. So, it's like audio guys coming from Crass right into working at Guitar Center. It's like the same thing.
Yeah, very similar.
Yeah. So my experience with Roberto-Venn was a lot of the Norwegian cats coming in to the Tempe store, like people from Norway and Sweden and those what are those Nordic countries?
Yeah.
Coming in with their death metal, weird body shaped guitars and always needing a coffin case.
Yep.
And then they're like, well, we're at Roberto-Venn. I was like, Roberto-Venn. I was like, the first time I heard about it. And then, next thing you know, boom, guitar techs and everybody
all
coming
over,
through.
Yep.
That's awesome, man. So how was your experience there?
It was awesome. I come from a guitar background.
Okay.
My dad has been a musician pretty much his entire life. He's worked at Fender for 35 years.
Whoa.
For 12 to 15 years, he was the master guitar technician, clinician. Mm-hmm. So he would go around all over the world to do guitar setups. And people would bring in, donations for local charities, and he would do a free setup.
Oh, wow.
You get a free set of strings, and he would do a setup on the guitar. And so I had always been around guitars. I remember going during summer break, going with my dad.
Traveling the world?
No, that didn't happen until I was 18.
Gotcha.
And we went to Germany and for 2 weeks, and that is a whole other podcast story all into itself.
Oh,
but
part 2. Stay tuned.
Yeah. He worked in Brea, California in the customer service area, which I'm sure I'm probably not remembering it right because I was so young, but my memory was it was in the back of the warehouse, customer service. Fender customer service was in the back of the warehouse where they did incoming inspection on certain products, and they had a pole that was very close by to where people were on the phone, and that's where guitars that were rejected got destroyed.
Destroyed?
Yeah.
How many people you think are angry about that?
Today, probably more than they should.
Today. Yeah.
Back then, it was just how what you did.
Yeah, that's what you did.
So having that guitar background, there were already a lot of things that I knew, but I didn't know I knew.
Yeah.
And then I go through the guitar building school, and light bulbs start going off, and I'm like, oh, I know about that. It's supposed to be this, supposed to be that. Here's the measurement for that, because a lot of people don't realize that, like a guitar setup, the basics of a guitar setup is pretty much all mathematical.
Yeah.
There's no technique. There's no feel. It's all mathematical. The physics of the guitar is mathematical. So
it's on the artist to bring in, like, to summon the spirit within that wood.
Yeah. And that's the playability side of it, is the setup, and small little tweaks can make or break how well a guitar feels.
Yes, that makes sense. Yeah, because you look at a spec sheet of a guitar. What's a spec sheet? Oh, the nut is 1 11/16, or the string height from the fretboard should be here at the 5th fret, here at the 12th fret.
Yep.
Yeah, it is all just very regimented in that sense.
Yeah. And my dad was the one who pretty much created the system that is pretty much industry standard now as far as how manufacturers do setups. He introduced the automotive feeler gauge. He introduced, automotive 6-inch rulers and 32nds and 64ths. Companies now sell guitar repair kits or setup kits that have all those in there. That was really what he brought when he was doing tuner tester stuff at Fender.
From his experience, from day in and day out, having to do these things for people, and it's like, well, how can I make this easier for them?
Repeatable,
and then for himself,
repeatable, consistency, everyone being the same,
quality control. Damn. Is he still working for Fender?
No. Him and I are business partners in a consulting firm.
Oh, okay. Nice. What's it like working with your pops?
It is,
because you're working with him and you're in a band with him.
So I work with him. I'm in a band with him.
Dude.
I'm actually in 2 bands with him. He is legit my best friend.
That is awesome.
We have been through so much over the past 20 years that we both have really grown, and he's truly my best friend. And so any issues I have, I can take to him. Anything that I want to talk about, I can take to him.
Yeah.
And he tells me straight up, no bullshit, here's how it is.
Yeah.
Here's what reality is. Here's what you're feeling. Here's what reality is.
Yeah, an outside perspective, not just an outside perspective, but somebody that really knows you at this point,
Yeah.
Because you guys are so close.
Yeah. So it's amazing. I mean, I know that there are people, especially in manufacturing and business in general. I mean, he is such a smart business mind as well as a brilliant artist, whether it be designing a guitar or writing songs, drawing, but he's also very analytical. He's also very business centric. And those 2 things typically don't live in the same person.
No, they don't.
And to be as good as he is at both is just, there are people all over the world that would love to have him for a week to just pick their brain. And I get him every day.
Yeah.
Every day. I mean, this morning I was on the phone with him for probably close to an hour.
Yeah. Damn.
So I'm very blessed.
Yeah.
It's awesome. Very frustrating.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Well, after all this, what's your main pet peeve of his?
It's not all happy, joy.
Yeah.
There are things that I do that I know just piss him off to no end. There's things that he does that frustrates the hell out of me. But we are a good yin and yang.
Yeah.
We feed off of each other in positive ways. We both have different kind of perspectives on things, and so there have been times where it doesn't happen as often from my side of it, but there have been times where we'll be talking about something, and I'll put my perspective into it, and he goes, I didn't think of it from that way.
I'll get back to you.
Let me
mull that over.
He'll go, you know what? That's the best way.
Wow.
I didn't see it from that angle. You're right. Doesn't happen that often.
That is such a treasure in somebody, though, for them to acknowledge that they missed something and to say, let's try it your way, or your way is the way.
Well, and I don't think it's about missing. It's about not being closed off to other ideas.
Yeah.
And no matter how much any one of us knows, there's still a ton of shit we don't know. Yeah. And we don't know what we don't know.
Exactly. And just like you said, you mentioned perspectives is a huge factor in just about everything.
Yeah. And I tend to be very black and white. I'm very, I spent almost 8 years in the U.S. Navy. And so from that, I got a lot of very regimented, very black and white. We have a process. And if you want to change the process, we have a process to change the process. And I know that drives him just completely batshit crazy because he understands where black and white needs to be. Yeah. But he also lives pretty much day to day in this great big gray area where nothing is permanent. Nothing is, it has to be this way. Mm-hmm. If that was how everything was, then nothing would ever change. Nothing would ever evolve because it's black or white.
Yeah. So some of his thinking has maybe influenced you and maybe opened you up a little bit since,
More so in the last couple of years since we've really had to start really trusting one another more and really relying on each other more.
Were you guys doing the Fano? Is it Fano?
Yes.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Can you talk about that?
Talk a little bit about it, yeah.
Okay.
So this actually is kind of a good segue. So I went to Guitar Center, was a repair tech there for 1.5 years. In May of 2015, I decided I'm going to go open up my own repair store and put in my 2 weeks notice. And they went, yeah, you don't get 2 weeks. Pack your stuff up and get out. Guitar Center paid me for the 2 weeks.
Yeah.
But they went, you're opening up your own repair.
That's
it's
right.
Competition. We don't want you stealing. And I went, hey, that's not a problem. I get it. Left on very good terms. I remember I went in one time, and I don't even know what her role was then. But anyway, one of the employees who was high in charge of the place. Yeah. Had a customer that was really pissed because he made an impulse buy on a Gibson SG Custom. And I guess he bought it the night before after the other repair tech that was there, Nick, after he had already left. Yeah. And the guitar needed major work. Yeah. Needed major setup. I mean, it was unplayable.
And some people don't realize that the guitar, most of the time, that needs to be set up the most is the brand new out of a box one. It's just a factory spec.
Well, it's not even so much that it's factory spec. It's it's been sitting in a warehouse
and it hasn't been broken in. Hasn't
been touched.
Yeah,
it hasn't been touched. Yeah, and climate changes. Next move. So you have to make adjustments to the necks and stuff. When I was at Guitar Center as a repair tech, I had to set up 2 guitars from the wall every shift. So those guitars played beautifully. The ones in the boxes didn't get the same love and attention. Yeah, and so you had to give them a setup, and that's why Guitar Centers, you get a complimentary. Did I say that right?
Yeah. You nailed it.
Complimentary factory spec setup.
Yeah.
If you want custom setup, then you got to pay for the custom setup. But if it's factory spec, it's on us.
Yeah.
Well, tech wasn't there, so he brought it in the next day, and I was there. I think I was buying strings and just saying hey to everybody.
Oh, you had already left.
I'd already left. Yeah, I'd already been gone for like a month at this point. It was like the end of June, and she came over to me and she's like, James, I got this customer over here. She tells me the whole story. I'm like, she goes, can you talk to him? I'm like, I don't work here.
Yeah.
I don't know if I should. Yeah. I don't work. She goes, you've been gone less than a month. Can you just talk to him, please? I went, all right, I'll talk to him. So I ended up trying to talk this customer in because all he needed was a setup. Yeah. But he's going, this thing plays like shit. The action is, like half an inch and this, that, and the other. So I said, you just need a setup. The tech that does work here is great guy, great tech. He'll be back in, he's on his lunch break. He'll probably be back in the next half hour or so. let him set it up for you and you'll be good. What it ended up being was it was an impulse buy, and his wife got pissed and said, you better take it back.
Oh, so he was trying to make an excuse.
So instead of just going, I don't want it anymore.
Yeah. People are funny. They feel like there's a 45-day return window. No questions asked.
No questions asked. That's the thing.
I just need a reason to put it in the remarks, but like you don't have to say anything. The same thing with like the warranty, like Guitar Center's warranty. You could literally say, "Hey, this is the accident that I had," and it's completely covered. If they can't be fixed, it's reimbursed. So when I ask people, yeah, so any physical damage? Did you drop it? When it looks like it did, but I just got to get their confirmation. And they're like, "Oh no." I'm like, are you sure this covered? And they're like, no, I didn't drop it. And then I'm like, all right, bud, well, we'll try and get you taken care of.
Okay, yeah.
Now you're with the manufacturers because the warranty kicks in once you say you had an accident with it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, people are so funny.
So I opened up my own repair store. Well, I ended up not actually opening up a repair store.
Okay.
I ended up in June, my dad got involved. So my dad got laid off from Fender in February of 2014. When I started at Guitar Center, he got laid off from Fender after 35-something years.
Wow.
So he threw out the shingle going consultant. Well, he ended up, I forget how he got involved with it, but he got involved with a company called Aero 3. And this is one of the guitars that I built.
It's a full bird's eye maple fretboard and neck?
It is a maple neck and fingerboard. The fingerboard is bird's eye. The neck is not a bird's eye.
So the back of the neck. The neck itself, the fretboard. Yeah. Gotcha. Nice.
Yeah, so it is a two-piece. Gotcha. It is a two-piece neck.
Okay.
And so he got involved with this company, Aero 3, who had some really cool aerospace technology, but they didn't really understand how to build guitars.
So wait, it's an aerospace company?
No, so it is an aero. So the guy that figured out how to make it work, because companies since forever have tried to use different materials and different things inside the guitar to enhance things.
Gotcha.
So essentially, what this guy is this is a that has chambers.
So the way it's like honeycombed or...
So under the flame maple top, there's chambers that are filled with a honeycomb material that is found in airplanes that helps dampen the sound and the noise when you're in the fuselage.
Okay.
Companies have been trying to figure this out for decades on how they can use these different things to enhance things, and some of them work, some of them don't. This guy ended up figuring out what exact material to use and how much it needed to be to really give the guitar something that no other guitar really had. So this thing, it sustains for days, has super, super clear, super, high fidelity. So he got involved with them. My dad designed this. This is the Aero 3 A15 model. So he designed it top to bottom. We had a working partnership with Fender for not this bridge, but the Fender 2-point synchronized trem.
The trem system, yeah.
We partnered up with Graphtech for the ratio tuners. And I believe Aero 3 was one of the first OEMs to use the D'Addario NYXLs.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And so Dad, really utilized his resources and, relationships to help get this thing going. So he got involved. Next thing I know, I'm getting involved and I'm flying up to Seattle, Washington for 7 weeks to hand build the first 25.
Oh, wow.
So we had the necks done on a CNC. Neck, don't care how good of a build you are, you're never going to make the exact same neck twice.
Yeah, you have to CNC it. Which CNC stands for what? Computer cut?
I have no idea. I honestly don't know what CNC
But basically
means.
It's a machine doing it, not
it's a machine
person.
that has bits that cuts it all out, and that's where you get, consistency, repeatability, all that kind of stuff.
Which helps with the quality control. At the end of the day, somebody's hands need to get on it.
Yep.
finish it.
Yep, exactly. And so, it's all finished, sanded by hand and everything else, but the majority of the neck takes shape in the machine.
And also keep in mind that that's how they keep the costs so low, is that they have a machine cutting the laborious side of it.
Yep, exactly. Yep. Exactly. But all 25 of them, it was me and one other guy that had graduated from Roberto-Venn a couple years before I went there. It was him and I that built out all of the bodies for the first 25.
Damn.
And so this one I believe is number 7.
Really? Wait, is it stamped as such?
Yeah.
Yeah, just bring that sucker down. What kind of Duncans are in that right now?
So that is,
So let's see.
A3 150007.
So was that like March 15th?
No, so A3 is Aero 3.
Okay.
15 was the year, 2015.
Gotcha. And seventh one.
And it's also the model of the instrument, A15.
Gotcha.
And then the number is 007. So actually, I think the 15 is because of the model 15.
That's right.
Aero 3 A15.
Bolt on. Because that's normally because you would look at this one right out the gate and be like, oh, okay, it's a strap style body with the strap pickups, but no trim.
No trim. It's a hardtail.
It's a hardtail.
Yep. So we did those in hardtail and in trim.
With the 2-point
with the
system.
2-point fender.
Gotcha.
Deluxe. I think it was they called it the deluxe 2-point trim or something like that.
Gotcha.
So yeah, we had we used the Pearly Gates, Seymours. Mm-hmm. These are all stacked single coil.
Gotcha. Okay, that makes sense then.
Yeah. And so these are the STK9 and STK6, I think.
So double stack would mean just is higher output.
Higher output, yeah.
Which would make
it's not a true humbucker.
Yeah, exactly.
So they're a little bit hotter than a typical single coil.
But I guess what I'm pointing out is that because it doesn't have a trim, you would take a guess that the single coils in there are a little bit higher output, because
not necessarily
without the trim you get a little bit more sustain out of it, don't you? Like maybe like a through body,
a little bit, because you figure this guy here, I'm going through the wood, but on the trim I'm going through
like a
block.
Or
I'm going through a brass block of some kind,
mm-hmm.
Or some kind of metal, high grade metal. Because I actually don't know what they might be. Steel. Gotcha. I think those ones are steel.
Yeah, because I think that isn't like an upgrade point that a lot of companies will say. It's like, oh, it's a brass trim.
Oh yeah,
because it's more sonic.
Yeah, and you get into all those voodoo kind of things, and it's like, eh. But to segue kind of quickly, so we did this, and then that took us through pretty much the end of 2015.
Yeah.
Then Dad got a call, and by the way, I should say, Dad, his name is Jack Schwartz.
Yeah,
the infamous Jack Schwartz.
Okay,
no, not the world known guitar guru Jack Schwartz. I like Guitar Centers. I can't tell you how many guitar centers he helped open up doing the clinics and stuff back in the day. I mean, insane. So that took us through pretty much the end of 2015, and then I think it was in like October he got a phone call from somebody saying, "Hey, need some help with some quality documentation, some inspection documentation for this brand Fano."
Okay.
And he went, "Okay, cool." So he flies up. At the time, they were located in Rohnert Park, California, which is about an hour and a half north of Oakland.
Okay.
And he went up there, and they had some issues beyond just some documentation.
Oh.
So he gets home and he goes, "How are you almost done with finishing up all the Aero 3 stuff?" I said, "Yeah, I'm pretty much done." He's like, "Cool. Finish that up completely. I may have another project for you."
Yeah.
So I'm like, "Okay, cool." So December 28th, my wife's birthday, him and I fly up to Rohnert Park to start looking at stuff, and I ended up getting hired on through, at the time, my dad's consulting firm. Before him and I partnered up, he brought me on as kind of a subcontractor They had, so this is the end of December going into January. What's the big show that happens in January?
The
NAMM show.
Yeah.
They wanted 50 guitars for NAMM.
Oh my God.
They had like 3 or 4 built.
And we're talking about like 3 weeks.
We're talking
at most?
3 weeks.
Wow.
3 weeks before everything had to ship.
What?
Down to NAMM.
Yeah.
And so my task was build as many guitars as possible. And so I ended up having to go through like 3 or 4 days of training with the 2 guys they had building, so I could teach them how to properly dress frets, how to, just kind of bring their skill levels up a little bit. And then while I did that, Pops was working on all the documentation side, working with, quality criteria, working with vendors. They had some significant issues with some of the vendors that they were using, so he, went in and helped kind of take care of those. And ended up building out, I think we ended up with 35 guitars total.
Wow, dude.
In basically 2.5 weeks.
Yeah.
It was a roller coaster. It was a complete roller coaster.
Can't imagine.
And so even today as consultants, we do work with Fano. He's doing all kinds of stuff. I'm doing all kinds of stuff. So from the consultant side, once 2020 hit with the pandemic and everything, the company had to make some changes, and I ended up getting laid off. But there was still everything that I was doing that still needed to be done.
Yeah.
So we made some adjustments where we could, and made an agreement with the owners that I would stay on as part of the consulting to take care of some of the stuff that I was already taking care of, because if I'm not there, there's nobody else to take care of it. It's a very fast paced. It's very small. But I mean, if you people look at our social media, at Fano's social media, and have this idea that it's this big, huge thing, and it's a small core group of guys, that are really keeping it together, and so it's been a crazy roller coaster.
I mean, just your first experience with them. Hey, you got to bang out as many guitars in 3 weeks as possible for the biggest show of the year.
Well, and then they also had orders for artists that they had been waiting for 18 months.
Oh wow,
12 months.
Yeah,
and so not only did I have to get the guitars built for NAMM, but also had to get these guitars built for these artists, because they had shows that were around NAMM that everything was going to kind of tie into and things like that. And so, and I think we ended up with building close to like 40, 42 guitars, something like that, inside of 2 weeks.
Damn.
It was crazy. 14-hour days.
I just picture like
6 days a week.
Yeah. I just picture like a Gordon Ramsay like finale, like Hell's Kitchen, where like everybody's just running back and forth.
It was chaotic.
Yeah.
That is for sure. But it was, it was probably some of the most fun that I'd had in ever.
Ain't that so crazy, man? Like one of the most stressful like points in your life. Like even there's a movie out right now that it's on Hulu or Netflix. It's called like The Marshalls versus the Machines. I've only caught glimpses of it, and everybody's raving about it. It's well done.
Yeah.
And it's totally, when you see the way it's kind of like animated and edited, it's definitely for the new age of kids, with, TikTok and just the vines and all that was around. It's like that, but it's definitely a good movie. I recommend it.
I'll definitely have to take a look at that.
Yeah, watch it, man. It's good. And then, but the spot, like basically the girl is grown distant from her pops, right? And he is making one last ditch effort to kind of reconnect with her as she's going to college by like just throwing a curveball and saying, hey, instead of flying out, we're taking a week-long road trip. We're going to drive you there.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And they're having like the worst trip ever, like food poisoning. Everything's going bad, right?
Yep.
But I'm like thinking they're going to look back and be like, look at the shit we went through.
Yeah.
And we made it out to the other side. And it's those times those stressful times where you got to make 50 guitars in 3 weeks, and you're like, how? And that's hell. In that moment, you're like, it's as hell. But now looking back, you're just like, wow, like this is what we did, and you talk about it with such like I'm sure you can reach out if you're still not in contact with the other guys you were working with, but like you probably reach out and be like, hey, dude, remember back in 2016 when we were supposed to, and they'll be like, yeah, bro, like. Oh, that was good times.
I don't know if those guys would say that was good times because I again, coming, being, I'm 40, I'm 41 now, so this was back in 2015, so 6 years.
I'm not good at math.
It's like 36, right? I just turned 36. But having that military background, some younger aged guys gotcha. Typically, unfortunately there's a lot of the younger generations that can't handle getting yelled at when they screw something up, when they do something wrong. And there's a time and a place for explanations. And when something bad just happened, that's not the time to start whining and crying and going, well, why are you yelling at me? What is this going on? Now, I wasn't like that bad at that time.
But there's a deadline, though.
But we had deadlines, and it was, like I said, I was working 6.5 days a week.
I don't understand
14-hour days most of the time.
That's what it takes.
The couple Sundays, or the one Sunday that I was up there for, I ended up working half a day and pumped out another guitar. And that's just it. You do what it takes.
I don't think people understand what it takes to get something of such quality done. Mm-hmm. Like it takes a tremendous amount of effort, determination, and you're gonna have to put up with some shit. I mean, that's how you get greatness in that sense. Like that's like we can never comprehend what goes through Jordan's head, LeBron's head, like Brady's head, like all the great are artists as well. What went through Michael Jackson's head, all that. Like there's some twisted shit in there to make these people rise to the top and be the epitome of what excellence is in their field. Yeah.
Well, I use the comparison to baseball. Mm-hmm. In baseball today, you'll never have another Kirk Gibson. You'll never have another Oral Hershiser. You'll never have another Dennis Eckersley. You'll never have another Nolan Ryan. How many pitchers go full 9 innings anymore?
You can't.
Hardly ever.
Hardly ever. That was so new to me because, I play a lot of sports, and I played a lot of sports, and I watched a lot of sports growing up. Mm-hmm. But after high school, I was pretty much really not following anything. And I think it was when the Cubs were going for like their... their title.
Was that 15?
15,
16, somewhere there? I can't remember.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's when it was, or maybe it was more recent. But I was watching. I was like, I'm going to watch a game. And I was like, wait, this guy was just in for 2.5 innings. I was like, why are they taking him out? Yeah. And he's like, no, pitchers just, like, they rotate him.
He's a middle reliever now.
Yeah.
So you don't have a starter and a reliever. Yeah. You now have starter, middle reliever, closer.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting at. Because even when I was watching, I was a big Braves fan. So John Smoltz, Greg Maddux.
Greg Maddux. So when I played ball, I was a pitcher. Yeah. And while I looked up to guys like Earl Hershiser for a lot of mechanics and just how they were on the mound, I was more of a Greg Maddux guy.
Yeah,
on my best day, I threw in like the low 80s, but I threw a knuckleball. I called it a slurve. I never learned how to throw a traditional curveball. And it was just a bunch of bullshit junk, but I had control of it.
Yeah, that's the big
And
one.
I painted the corners, what do they call them, a Rembrandt.
Yeah.
I painted the corners. I used all the different planes, height, in, out, and depth. I used all of that to my advantage and became a very successful pitcher. Everything's all fastball.
Everything
curve
these
ball,
days is
change
speed.
up,
Yeah,
speed. Same thing with hitters. Everything is you got to have more power hitters than just, I remember back in the day, like one of my favorite players was Brett Butler.
Put it in play.
Just put it in play. Just get it in there. Get on base.
You know who's fun to watch is Baez, man. Baez from the Cubs.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, his there's compilations of him sliding into, second and third, and he's just like breakdancing as he's like avoiding the tag and touching the bag, like excellent.
Oh, yeah.
Those that's one thing I got into when the pandemic hit, because we're talking about YouTube. On YouTube is like our search engine essentially.
Yeah.
Like even if I Google something, I'm really just Googling for a YouTube video.
Yep.
But I got wrapped into baseball like highlights and oddities. The oddities are like the funniest things.
Oh yeah.
They like where the balls end up in a weird spot.
Yeah, we got a visitor.
We do.
Damn fly.
It's all good.
Anyway.
But all right, so we went off this tangent.
Yeah. But so then we, like I said, then we got involved with the Fano, and if it weren't for what Pops and I went in and did with the whole Fano thing in 2016 for NAMM, it could have been bye-bye Fano for all we know. Mm-hmm. And so,
well, yeah. What did they do? Show up with 4 guitars?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, and they had two amp brands at the time too.
Oh, damn.
They had 2 Rock amps and Tone King amps.
Damn.
Too, because it was owned by a company called Premier Builders Guild.
Okay.
And so, I mean, yeah, it would have been just a catastrophe.
Yeah.
And
that's it. You have to close up shop at that point. Like the outing. Imagine people showing up. It's like, let's go check out the Fano booth and. Like that's it.
And so we were, I think we were in the last home stretch to get everything shipped to NAMM, and the owners at the time brought the idea of, because he goes, what do I need to pay you guys to work for me? We went, dude, I'm not moving to California.
Yeah.
No way. And I'm not commuting. Mm-hmm. No way. He goes, well, what if we moved it down to Scottsdale?
Ooh.
And I went, remember, you said it, not us. We didn't bring it up because if you move something, what happens to the people that are there?
Yeah,
they get laid off,
or they have to relocate. Yeah,
exactly. And so we went, okay, move it. And so after NAMM 2016, in February 2016, it moved to Scottsdale. And now it's in Tempe.
Nice.
We had to move to a little bit larger facility.
That's always nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
weren't you in Oregon for a bit?
Yeah. So when I was a kid, we moved around a lot. And not only did we move different states, but we moved around. Like I was born in Oregon. And then we moved with my dad to Southern California. Mm-hmm. Then me and my mom went back to Oregon while my dad went to Alaska, where he was basically full-time musician. He got laid off from Fender the first time.
Gotcha.
And he went up to Alaska to be a full-time musician, full-time guitar player. He was playing basically 6 nights a week, anywhere from 5 to 7 hours a night.
Damn.
And then about 6 months after that, we met him up in Alaska and lived in Alaska until 86. Yeah, it was like middle of 86, something like that. And then he got a call from Fender going, hey, we want you to do this, do this, do this. And at first he was like, no. I mean, at that time, I think at one time he told me he was making like $1,500 a week.
Jesus. Just
in Alaska.
Your passion.
In 85, 86.
Yeah.
$1,500 a week.
Wow.
Now, mind you, all of the expenses were paid. They paid for our apartment. Everything. So there was really we had food expense. Now in Alaska, a gallon of milk is like $12.
Oh, is it?
I mean, it's insane. Because you're
no
not
cows up there.
Well, you're not actually physically attached to America.
Yeah.
To the United States. And so everything's got to go through Canada or it's got to get on a ship. So it's basically the same process as if you're living in Hawaii.
Hawaii, yeah.
So, Levi's are like 3 times more expensive.
Damn.
Just because of the logistics of it.
Do they still pay $1,000 to be an Alaskan resident?
I know they do pay. I don't know what it is.
Oh, okay.
I don't know what it is. But yeah, and I think you have to be a resident for X period of time too.
Gotcha.
Something like that. And then he finally, he goes, no. And then there was some negotiating and he went, okay. So we drove from Anchorage, Alaska, down to Orange County, California in a week.
What a change
in a
scenery.
week.
Yeah.
I mean, it's an exaggeration, but, there was a point where my dad was, borderline having to put toothpicks in his eyelids to keep them open. Because he had a week.
Yeah.
He had a week till he started. They're like, that's the deal. You got to be here in a week.
Whoa.
He's like, well, I gotta pack everything up and I gotta get my family down. You got a week.
Get it done.
I was like, oh shit. So I think it was like 2 weeks, and so it took us, a week to get everything finalized to get packed.
Yeah, you're moving. So but again, you're moving from a U.S. state to a U.S. state, but it's not that easy. Like we just mentioned, you got a whole another country you're going through.
Yep. And so we made it back down to SoCal, and that's pretty much where we were until 93. And then 93, we moved back here, or not back here, we moved here to Arizona. And then I left in 2000 when I joined the Navy, and then came back in mid-2007 when I got out, and been here ever since.
Did you see any time in like Afghanistan or Iraq or anything?
Not directly. I was on a ship.
Yeah.
But I did make 3 deployments over to the Persian Gulf.
Yeah, I guess, Persian Gulf.
We witnessed the Tomahawks that were launched from USS Higgins, and I believe they were the first group of Tomahawks that were launched that hit Baghdad.
Oh, was that 2003, right?
In the big shock and awe. Yep.
Damn.
And that's, you see that in various training exercises when you're off the coast of California, and there's a couple little, non-populated islands that the military bombs the crap out of.
Yeah.
And you see the stuff launched off of these smaller boats, because I was on an amphib, which basically we were a taxi cab for the Marines.
Gotcha. To and from the ship.
Well, to and from Kuwait.
Gotcha.
So we pick them up in Pendleton, in Camp Pendleton, and then they basically are there for the ride to get to Kuwait, and then we drop them off in Kuwait, and then they go and do their thing.
Gotcha.
And then we go and we do circles in various areas and get tasked to do other things while they're doing their thing, and then when they're ready to come back, we go pick them up and take them home.
What was your main role there?
My role, I was a quartermaster, and that's dealing with all the navigation stuff. So I dealt with all the charts. I dealt with making sure that we didn't hit anything, made sure that we stayed inside of our operating area when we were in the Persian Gulf. We had to keep, there's all kinds of different publications that the government comes out with for all the harbors and different, they're called straits, where two bodies of land come together real close. They're called a strait.
Yeah.
So there's the two main ones that we went through, Straits of Malacca, which is down by Indonesia and Singapore. And then the Straits of Hormuz, which is the entrance into the Persian Gulf. Basically, anywhere that there are buoys, they have publications that tell you exactly where they are. And there are certain times where they move or they're upgraded to different types of buoys. And so we have to go through all of our charts and make sure everything is updated.
Yeah.
We were a department of like 6 people, and it's all hands on deck to get it done. I mean, it's a
vast swath of ocean.
Yeah. And open ocean is not as big of a deal, but as soon as you start getting into the straits or you start getting into harbors and bays and stuff like that,
where there's a lot more traffic.
Then it becomes everybody's asshole is puckered. Because one wrong move and you're running this multi-billion-dollar ship aground. And
the dude, the Suez Canal.
Yep.
What do you think about that? Like,
I never went through the Suez Canal, so I don't know.
Yeah.
But whoever's at fault, I don't know. But
you don't want to go on
somebody screwed the pooch on that one.
So hold on. I don't see any fishing rods or anything. Are you into fishing though?
No.
You had your time on the water.
I always want to. I've always wanted to, because I grew up a city boy. I grew up, Southern California. We moved back down to Southern California when I was like 6 going on 7. And so from 7 to 13, I was in Southern California. And at the time, my dad was playing all of the LA clubs. So he was playing the Sunset Strip, and he was, playing, the Roxy and the Whiskey and FM Station and all those places where the Troubadour, where Motley Crue was playing, where Warrant was playing. I mean, I remember I saw Warrant play at a car show before anybody knew who the hell Warrant was.
Yeah.
you know. And so I grew up going into LA all the time. You know, I was 8 years old going into the Roxy. I think I was 9, maybe 10. Went to the Roxy to go see the guitar player for Billy Idol.
Okay.
Steve Stevens.
Okay.
He had a band back in the late 80s, early 90s called Atomic Playboys. And they had their CD release concert over at the Roxy.
Yeah.
So we went, and we go, and we're having a great time. And up in the VIP area is Eddie Van Halen.
Whoa. And
I'm like, Dad, I got to go get his autograph. And he goes, well, let me go see. You know, it's not really the type of thing. And, and you know, my dad being, you know, he did concert promotion for years. I mean, he hung out with not that Eddie remembered later on, but, you know, my dad was a concert promoter for the first couple tours that they did up in the Oregon, Pacific Northwest area. Yeah. Eddie himself taught my dad how to tap.
Oh shit!
You know, before he actually he was turning around to the audience when he would do his tap thing because he didn't really want it out there yet.
Yeah.
I mean, he drove Rush in a, like, I think it was like a Winnebago RV to Denny's at 3 a.m. after they did a show. You know, so like he never was starstruck. You know, I think the only time that he really got starstruck was when he met Ringo Starr.
Really?
Yeah, and it was like, you're Ringo Starr, and he's like, yeah, I know. But he never got starstruck, and but I was like 9, something like that, and I'm like, dude, you gotta see if I can get Eddie's autograph. Let's go. So he goes over to the bouncer, and he tells the bouncer, kid wants to get the autograph. So bouncer goes up, talks to Eddie, and Valerie was there at the time, his wife, Valerie Bertinelli. So the bouncer goes up, talks to him. The bouncer looks down at us and kind of motions us to go ahead and come up. So my dad and I start walking up the stairs to get up to the VIP area, and the bouncer is hustling it to get back over to us. Puts his big ass hand on my dad's chest and goes, and now my dad's not a small guy. I mean, he's 6'2",
Yeah.
Puts his hand on my dad's chest and goes, "No, not you, sir. Just a kid." So I go up there, and I end up sitting in between Eddie Van Halen and Valerie Bertinelli for like 15 minutes.
Wow!
And I got an autograph. It was right around For Unlawful Carnal Knowledge came out, because I have on a napkin his signature, and in one of the little swooshes things he put FUCK. I was like, yeah. So awesome. I was always a city boy.
Yeah,
and. I love camping, so me and my wife used to go camping all the time, 3 or 4 times a year.
Wow.
I never at some point I would love to learn how to really hunt.
For sure, me too.
And maybe that's part of the military side, where it's like, okay, if some shit does go down, can I provide?
Yeah. I think that's just a male thing. Like, once you get to a certain age, you're just like, what happens when the shit hits the wall?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but no, I've been fishing once, and this was back during my heavy drinking days when I was in the Navy, and I was so damn pissed drunk. The only thing I caught was seaweed, or the lake grass or whatever it was.
As long as you weren't too drunk to think that it was a fish.
No, I that was later in the night.
Yeah.
That was but no, never went fishing, never been hunting. I love camping. I love going up to the mountains. That's where I want to eventually retire to, is somewhere that's got some nice big trees and cooler weather. Give me actually different seasons.
I think seasons would be nice for a bit. I think I hear that the snow just gets old. Which you lived in Alaska. I'm sure you were young. But yeah, I hear that. Yeah, the snow just gets to be.
Yeah, and I don't want to live anywhere that it's super snowy. I don't want to live like Flagstaff.
Yeah,
Payson would be perfect.
Oh yeah.
Because they only get a really bad winter every 4 or 5 years.
Mm-hmm. That's manageable.
Other than that, it's pretty manageable. You're never really snowed in somewhere.
Yeah.
So
that's a good area. Been up there a couple times. Cabining, is that a word?
Cabining. It is now.
It is
cabining.
Now. Send it.
That's right.
Wikipedia.
Patent pending.
So, so you're in a couple bands with your dad.
Yep.
And you sing and maybe play guitar, or
I primarily sing.
Yeah.
And
for
a singer, I have way too many damn guitars.
Because I didn't realize until you well, because again, you were when I met you, you were a repair tech.
Yeah.
And then next thing I know, you were working for Fano and promoting their guitars and all that.
Yep.
And then I've just known you for guitars, and then you posted a video of you singing that I came across, and I'm like, oh man, he's got some pipes. And then I show up and you're like, yeah, I mean, singing's my thing.
That's
like, oh shit.
Yeah. I'm a hack rhythm guitar player.
Yeah.
I know just enough to get in trouble. And that's why I honestly, I mean, I'm probably a lot harsher on myself than I need to be when it comes to that. But people, ask me all the time, and I'm like, well, I'm really not a guitar player.
Yeah.
I'm a singer.
I got you.
But I can strum some chords, and if I need to in like a band situation, I can strum some chords. I can't really sing and play at the same time.
That's hard, man.
So that tends to really kind of nip that whole thing in the ass real quick about me playing with a band, because it's like, okay, if you're trying to play guitar, then you're not concentrating on singing, which means your singing is going to suffer.
It's going to lack.
And you're already not that great of a guitar player. Do you really want to be even worse of a guitar player? Do you really want to do that in public? I'm like, no, not really.
Yeah, you're right.
so yeah, I'm a singer. I do play a little guitar. I play a little piano.
Okay.
That's it.
Yeah.
I like to go at my dad's studio. He's got a drum set in there. So if my 4-year-old or 15-year-old aren't in there banging on the drums, I'll go in there and bang on the drums just to make noise and pretend like I'm a
drums is such
straight
a
up
fun instrument, man. It's so fun because it feels way more primal than the rest of it.
Oh yeah,
yeah, it totally is, man. Because the first instruments had to be shit that you hit.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
To me, it's one of those where it's kind of like boxing.
Yeah,
where it's okay to hit.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And so when I lived at home with my parents and we had the guitar, the drum kit set up, if I was feeling very angsty, if I was feeling angry, if I felt like I really want to punch somebody in the face, I'd go and I'd play drums, and I would just beat the living shit out of them.
Maybe that's why my drum kit took a shit. Yeah, I had a drum kit in high school, and I always blamed my cousin. But it might have been me.
yeah, probably. Because it's I don't know. For me, it wasn't like a primal thing. It was just it's so. Like I know playing guitar is it's you gotta be one with it, but the drums is one of those where it is so physical because you're moving and you've got to hit stuff and you've got to have the endurance and the muscle strength to be able to play.
And the coordination to move all 4 limbs.
Yeah. Well, and that's where I get screwed up because I got 4 left feet. So, something as basic as just keeping a hi-hat going is like, nope.
Yeah, there you go. See you later.
Yep, nope. But yeah, so I'm primarily a singer.
So do you guys have regular gigs out here?
So with the acoustic trio, the Acousticrats, spelled acoustic rats.
Okay.
Which we are over on the Instagram and on Facebook. Shameless plug.
Plug away, my friend.
We do have, right now we're playing at a place called the Bone House up in Fountain Hills.
Okay.
Buddy of ours decided that he really wanted to open up a bar and do craft beer and be a brewery.
Okay.
And so he got some guys together and they opened it up and they've been going, I think, 3 years now.
Okay. Nice.
Really cool spot. It's just beer. I think they have some liquor.
Yeah.
But it's a brewery. It's a craft brewery type place.
Okay.
And they have food trucks that come in.
Nice.
And so they get stuff that's kind of that Louisiana kind of food, or they have they've got one that's like a lobster rolls. Like a Maine.
Yeah, lobster
rolls and crab rolls, stuff like that. They've got a wood-fired pizza place that comes in a lot.
So, but is it like one type of taco truck a night, or is it?
Gotcha. Yeah, and it's and I don't think they have the food truck every night, but I know nights that they have.
Did I say taco truck?
You did say taco truck. Hey, tomorrow's Taco Tuesday, so you're a day early there, buddy. But yeah, I know most nights when they have a band playing or they have an artist playing, a solo guy. I know like the local guy, Carvin Jones.
Oh,
he comes up there and plays.
Oh, nice.
Same thing with a couple other local, Guitar Hero guys. Now I'm blanking. Chuck Hall. Mm-hmm. He plays there every once in a while. And then my buddy Richie Fliegler, he plays up there. I think he's up there like once a month.
Yeah.
I think we're up there once a month, once every like 5 weeks, 6 weeks, something like that.
Gotcha.
And it's a really cool atmosphere. It's totally laid back. It's pretty much it's like playing in somebody's living room.
Oh, wow.
There's no pressure. There's no, we better not suck tonight kind of thing. It's like there have been nights where, one of us will forget an entire section of a song and we laugh about it. We joke about it. We give each other a little bit of shit about it. The audience and stuff laughs and has a great time. And it's just really nice.
It's all about the atmosphere.
Yeah. It's really nice and it's fun. Over the years, personality, people change over time. Yeah. Priorities change over time. And things that are a priority for me become, like band stuff that starts to not be a priority for other people. And I got tired of not having fun playing music. And I made a conscious effort in 2019 that if I'm going to do anything musical, it's got to be fun.
Yeah.
I've never made a whole lot of money doing it. I don't ever plan on making money. If I do, I'm not going to turn it away. Yeah. But I don't see myself being, the next John Bon Jovi or Steve Perry. Yeah. But I want it. It's got to be fun.
Yeah. And everybody forgets to keep it fun because you think that if you're going to do something, anything, well, you got to go all out. You got to, because everybody sees what's posted online.
You can go all out.
Yeah.
You can go all out. When I first got out of the Navy, we put together a band called Rockster. Mm-hmm. Well, my dad already had the band Rockster, but they were doing, very similar to like at the time what was like traditional bar music stuff. So they were doing a lot, some Lynyrd Skynyrd, ZZ Top, that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. When I got out of the Navy and moved back home, we changed it and we were doing arena rock. So we were doing Journey, Styx, Kansas, Van Halen, Whitesnake, that type of stuff. And it was balls to the wall. We opened up for Grand Funk Railroad at Arizona Bike Week in 2008. Yeah. We did, I can't tell you how many corporate parties we did. We did 2 years back to back at Tempe 4th of July party at Tempe Town Lakes. Big, huge stage, big, huge professional sound system. Mm-hmm. It was balls to the wall.
Yeah.
And it was work, but it was fun.
Yeah.
It was so much fun. And I had so much fun hanging with the guys that we were playing with. It was family.
Yeah.
As far as I was concerned.
Instead of business.
Yeah.
It was a business, but.
It was a business, but it was, we all had equal priority settings on the band and our music. Mm-hmm. We were doing casino gigs. We were opening up for, like I said, Grand Funk Railroad, doing all. We were playing great gigs, making decent money. We had an offer to go play 3 nights in a row at Sturgis that we ended up having to turn down, and it was because of scheduling conflicts. Mm-hmm. And that's when we started noticing that, okay, the priorities are changing for people, and that's fine.
Yeah,
perfectly fine, not a problem. Be upfront about it.
Yeah.
And that's where things started to get a little hinky, there was excuses and not just straight out going, my priorities have changed.
Yeah. They were trying to keep both with whatever was taking precedent now, but still trying to maintain this.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so, and then it other bands that we have, my dad and I have put together, because I've only ever been in bands with him. I tried doing a couple band things when I was in the Navy, and it was just garbage.
Yeah.
It was just garbage. And part of it is I don't compromise on talent. Mm-hmm. If you're not a good guitar player, I will tell you, you're not that great of a guitar player.
Yeah.
if I go in, I went and auditioned for a blues band, and they were god awful horrible.
Oh shit!
And they called me up a couple days later, and they said, "Hey man, you're so good. We really want to get this thing off the ground running, and this, that, the other." And I told them, I said, "I don't want to play the places that you guys are going to be able to get booked."
Mm-hmm.
Well, what is that supposed to mean? I'm like, "You're going to be playing the shitty dive bars."
Oh no! And then they turned out to be the Black Keys,
and
right?
No,
I
look. I wish I could turn around and I wish I could go. That's right. I turned those. No. And so I was just always spoiled.
Yeah.
And that was one thing that he always taught me was don't compromise.
Yeah.
And every time that there's been a compromise on that, it
hasn't been
lacked,
fun. Yeah.
and it's lacked something. It hasn't been fun, or recording projects. I don't really want to listen to it because there's things that are lacking with it that is purely from a ability level.
Yeah, execution.
The execution part of it, yeah. So,
well, you're having fun now. You got regular gigs.
I'm having a blast,
dude. Yeah, your Instagram page is fun to follow.
Wow, thanks, man. Thanks.
Which will lead us into this, man. You're doing custom pipes. Is there another name for them?
Pipes.
Just pipes. I'm just making sure. I want to see. Here's the thing. Like,
no, just pipes.
I want to know random information about like people's passions and stuff, man.
Yeah.
So it's like, all right, walk me through, I guess, the selection process for a piece of wood. And then does it go, I guess it goes into this, and then from there it can go into, and then I'm curious about the long boys right here, dude.
All right.
All right, let's go, man.
Well, first of all, there is no wood selection.
Okay.
There is no wood selection.
Okay.
There's sources online that you buy your Briar. Briar wood is typically the wood used for tobacco pipes. It's a very dense wood. It's damn near fire resistant.
Gotcha. Okay. Do you still have to seal it?
No.
Really?
No.
Okay.
You don't. Some guys do.
Yeah.
Some guys do put a layer of carbon inside the bowl. And what that does is now you're already trying to get into some of the technical stuff.
Yeah.
So when tobacco burns, it creates carbon.
Yep.
That carbon inside the pipe creates what we call a cake. And it's just a layer buildup of carbon.
Gotcha. Okay.
And so you can go to any like vitamin store and they sell carbon pills.
Oh yeah, I've seen those. Yeah.
And you can buy it online in just a straight bottle of powder, and you mix it with some. What do I use? I think I use mineral spirits. You just mix it with some mineral spirits, and you coat the inside of the bowl. And what that does is it's not really protecting the wood. What that's doing is it's helping to start that cake buildup.
Get a cleaner burn, or just to start it.
Yep.
Gotcha.
And some guys do, some guys don't. When it comes to Briar, there are other woods that you really have to. So when I first started making pipes, a piece of Briar, like this is my newest one that I just finished a couple days ago. That piece of Briar there is $20. Okay. This piece of Briar was $20.
Gotcha.
Major flaw in the wood.
Yeah, that look right there.
Yep. That is not good.
So what would happen over time?
So over time, that crack's going to open up even more. And it's not even really a crack. So Briar is the root, I believe it's the root of a heather tree.
Okay.
And it's typically grown in Italy. And there are other places that it is grown, but it's got to be very tropical. Where these are where the heather tree grows.
Okay.
And it's a root. And so the root is in the ground. And so as that root is getting bigger, it's getting these voids. It gets rocks. It gets sand. It gets all kinds of whatever's in the dirt that root is getting bigger in.
Yeah.
And so, and you don't know what's inside that Briar until you start cutting into it.
Start like molding it. Yeah.
Yep. And so this Briar was $20. This Briar was $20. You just hope you get more like this, and even this is not absolutely perfect. It looks pretty good, but if you get into some of the fine details, you can see there's some pitting going on, and I can try and kind of try and fish some of that out and sand some of that out.
Or would you
chase it out? Some guys do.
Oh, yeah, I see it right there.
And so you can, take a piece of, 400 grit sandpaper and try and chase that out. Mm-hmm. Sometimes you'll
how far are you
work
gonna go, though,
what else are you going to uncover?
Exactly.
Is the thing. And so at a certain point, you kind of just got to go, that's as good as it's going to be.
Gotcha.
And then you can take, if it's not a super pretty piece of wood, you can take and rusticate it.
Rusticate it. What's that entail?
So rusticating is this texturing.
Uh-huh. So do you take a chisel to it and create these divots, or? Guys
use all kinds of different things. I have a Phillips head screwdriver that I basically took my Dremel with a carbide tip on it, like a disc, and cut notches into it and basically made it into a 4-pronged fork.
Gotcha.
And so I sit there like this and dig into it, and Briar is super hard. I had a bruise. Last time I did it, I had a bruise that was this big for like a week.
There's got to be a better way.
It hurt so bad. Some guys take nails and drill a hole into a golf ball.
Yeah.
And epoxy in the nails, like a group of nails, like 10, 11 nails. Into the golf ball. Yeah. And then let it dry, and then you have something to actually grab and hold on to.
Gotcha. Okay.
Get a lot more leverage that way.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I really... And so
what's the coating? Is this coating, or what do you? How do you finish it off?
That's just stain, leather dye.
Okay.
Yeah, same thing with this. So this one here, I used a 2-color, 2-tone process, or a contrasting process. So it's very similar into guitar staining. If you want to get that wood, that flame to really pop, you stain it black.
Really?
Yeah, you stain it black. Look at a lot of PRS guitars, the flame top, like the super high end flame tops in those. But typically, what they do, and I don't think they do it on all of them, but typically, what most guys do is they'll stain it black, and so all of these dark areas will get nice and black.
That's like the
and then these light areas get even lighter, and so you get even more of that contrast pop.
For all the Instagram folks, that's like the filter on there, the lo-fi filter.
Yes, yes.
Or adjusting the shadows and the highlights.
Yes.
Okay.
So what I did here is I did black.
Because that's the wood grain. That's what I was going to ask.
That's the wood grain. Yep, that's just natural wood grain. So I stained it black, let that sit for 24 hours, sanded all the black off. Well, not all of it, but sanded back to where just the grain had the black, and then I stained red over it. Mm-hmm. And then my taste and my style is I like to get some of these little lighter areas with that really dark contrast, because it almost makes it give it a little bit of like kind of a glowing.
Yeah.
There's a technique that a buddy of mine in Helsinki, Finland, where he gets his stuff to where it looks like there's a burning coal in the pipe.
Really?
It's insane.
Whoa.
It is insane. And he's talked me through it a couple times, and I'm still like, that's as close as I can get. And that's 100 miles away from what he's doing. It's insane. So like the wood process, the wood choosing, you don't get to choose the wood.
Gotcha.
You just buy them, and you hope that more of them turn out like this than like this. Because this is unsellable. That is what we call a shop pipe until it burns out. Because this hole here, that will get deeper and deeper, and the heat and everything else, it'll shrink and contrast and do all that stuff. So or expand and contract and all that stuff. So that guy just gets tossed wherever, and if it gets dinged up and beat up, I really don't care. It's a good smoker, and that's the at the end of the day, no matter how nice a pipe is, how does it smoke?
Yeah.
And that's why I brought out some of these other ones. So this one here is made by another artisan on Instagram, ABB Brown, Corey Brown. I can't remember where he's based out of. He's here in the States. But he's an amazing maker. That's like $180, $200 pipe.
Really?
Yeah.
It looks badass.
And it's an amazing pipe. It is an absolute gem of a pipe. It smokes like a freight train. There's nothing that doesn't smoke good out of it, and it is a beautiful pipe.
So I'm trying to gauge the diameter here of what would you call the opening? What is that called?
Which one? This one here?
Yeah, just in
the
general.
That's called the tobacco chamber.
The chamber. Okay. Yeah, because I'm trying to gauge because I don't know if it's just
some
the way
of them
this
are like
looks.
7/8. Some of them are like 7/8. Some of them can be up to an inch.
Yeah.
You typically want something that you can get your
To pack it.
finger and to pack it down when you're first packing the bowl.
Okay.
But so when I first started, I didn't want to spend a whole bunch of money on like the wood because I'm like, well, first of all, what if I don't like doing it, or what if I just suck?
Yeah.
So I started using guitar woods.
You had those.
So this is swamp ash.
Okay. Yeah.
I
I'm
think
familiar with that.
that's one of the first pipes that I made.
Nice.
All
Well, that's what I was
by
gonna say.
hand.
At the end of the day, yeah, you got that pit in here, but at the end of the day, it's practice, right?
Yeah.
So this is cool. It allows you to get practice in.
Yeah. And, because it's not as dense of a wood, it's going to burn out.
Gotcha.
It's not going to last 100 years. Briar pipes will last, 200-300 years if you take care of it.
Damn.
Right? Yeah.
Is there a threat? Do you have to keep these humidified to an extent to help them last longer?
No. You just don't want them in extremes.
Yeah.
You don't want to leave them in your car. If you live in Arizona in the summertime, and you don't want to leave it in your car if you're in Alaska in the wintertime. You don't want to go to either extreme. They just sit on a shelf in my office.
Okay.
In the house. And that's, I used to keep, I keep, this rack actually sits out here behind you, in my little entertainment area. And then this one here is, I think that one is alder.
Definitely.
I think that was the second one that I made.
Okay. What dictates what's this portion called?
So that's a stem.
The stem. What dictates the stem style? Because like you get this one that kind of flares a bit.
Whatever you imagine.
Yeah.
I mean, there's all kinds of.
I guess one thing that kind of comes to mind real quick is I guess the longer the stem, the more maybe the smoke kind of cools down before it hits you.
Exactly. So the shorter the pipe, typically, the hotter the smoke is going to be, the longer, the cooler.
Gotcha.
Yep. And then this one here, this one is Carina.
Ooh.
And these are, I would say these two pipes are, well, hang on here. Yeah. These two pipes are comparable in size, right?
Okay, yeah.
This one's a little bit bigger. Now feel the weight difference.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So good for guitar because it's light.
Good for pipe smoking because you
oh, yeah. Let it hang.
you put it in your mouth and just clench it. And
yeah,
let
this
it
one
hang.
you can definitely get like an underbite or something.
You can get some serious fucking lockjaw. I mean, it's insane on some of these guys. And then I have my patent pending. Trademark pending. No, not really. Rough nut series that I do. So this is, again, it's swamp ash, just stained it black. But I use different types of nuts.
Yeah.
At the stem. So little nomenclature. This whole thing, the wood part is called a stummel.
Stummel. This part right here.
This, yep. So the whole thing. So all of this is the stummel.
Stummel.
This is a stem.
Okay.
Some people break the stem into two, stem and a mouthpiece. Mm-hmm. The mouthpiece being the part that goes in your mouth.
Yeah, depending on how it flares out. I saw one that had a small hole in it. I see one with like an oval opening.
On the stummel, you have a shank.
Okay.
And then you have the bowl. And then in the bowl, you have the tobacco chamber.
Okay.
So, see how this has kind of this, they call it a beauty ring? Mm-hmm. That's kind of what I was going for with the rough nut.
Yeah.
And it's really, and it's really weird how everything is, well, not weird, but it's really interesting how everything kind of flows into itself. So when I went to Roberto-Venn to learn how to build guitars, there were a bunch of dudes that were like, I'm going to go out and I'm going to be the next greatest luthier in the world. And I'm going, you're full of shit. How many guitar builders are already out there? What are you going to do that's going to set yourself apart?
Mm-hmm. There's tons, man.
I mean,
every day I find out about your brand.
A Strat and a Telly and a Les Paul and a P bass or a J bass What other shapes do you need?
Yeah.
None. I mean, those are the most popular shapes of all time ever, period, ever. So how do you set yourself apart? That's one of the beautiful things that we had with Aero 3. Now, Aero 3 has since it doesn't exist anymore. But that was one thing, with the aerospace technology, with the tele-type layout of the knobs, with the 5-way blade switch like a Strat, very vintage, 21 fret, vintage neck, vintage profile neck.
Is that like a 50s then?
Yeah. It's kind of in between the 50s and 60s. It's not quite as big as a 50s.
Gotcha.
But it's pretty chunky. And it's only 21 fret.
Okay.
But we added the very modern spoke truss rod adjustment. So we had something that set us apart.
Yeah.
In pipes, everybody makes a pipe similar to this. Different texturing.
Yeah. Different
colors. But this is essentially like the quintessential pipe shape right here. This is actually made by another guy that's on Instagram, Dragon Briars. He makes beautiful pipes, and there's so many guys that make just stunning, beautiful pipes. I mean, this thing here is absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah, that is cool.
How do I, if I'm going to make pipes, if I'm just making for me, then I'm okay with that, because now I don't have to go out. I can buy 2 or 3 really nice custom artisan made pipes that I'm going to wait 4 or 5 months for.
Yeah.
That are going to be $200 or $300. But I kind of want to try and do what I do with music, which is I play in a cover band to pay for the expenses of original music recording.
Yeah.
And so I kind of was thinking the same thing with pipes. Well, how do I kind of make something different that is, when somebody sees this pipe, they go, oh, that's an Arizona Jim.
Exactly.
And so I went, you know what? And I was rummaging through my father-in-law's toolbox, and I just started seeing like all these different size, different nuts for different things and stuff, and went, I bet I can use one of those. And so I've made, this is the prototype.
Yeah. Ooh. Holding the prototype.
I've made 2 more that were Briar and 1 that was a corn cob. So it was like this. Gotcha.
So what would you call this design? It looks
that's
like
a corn cob.
Corn cob too, but it maybe just more like.
So this here is your quintessential Missouri Meerschaum corn cob pipe.
Because the grooves on this one are deeper. That's what
yeah. So that one is a fully finished pipe. So all the white that you see on the side there, that's all plaster. But it's a straight up corn cob.
These are so cool.
Yeah. This one here, this one is a highly modified corncob pipe.
Yeah.
So you can't go to MissouriMeerschaum.com or corncobpipe.com and find this pipe. You can find that one all day long, but this one, there's another guy on Instagram. The pipe and cigar community on Instagram is absolutely amazing. It is insane, the number of people. People will offer to send you shit.
Really?
Be like, hey, have you tried this tobacco? No, I haven't tried the. Or you make a comment on somebody's post. Go, somebody's talking about a type of tobacco that they're smoking. You go, man, I haven't tried that yet. I got to get some. Next thing you know, you're getting a DM with them going, hey, what's your address? I'll send you some, and I'll send you a bunch of other shit.
Oh shit!
And it's like, what? I just commented, I need to try it. I didn't ask you to send. They're like, yeah, I know, it's all right.
They want
cool.
more people to kind of get familiar with their passion.
It's to me, it is about the community.
Yeah.
This is the pipe and cigar world online is extremely community based, and it is. There are arguments amongst people based on politics and religion, but they're so far and few between. You go to a cigar lounge, and for the most part, you can go and have a great time and talk to somebody who lives the exact opposite life that you do. I remember when I first got into cigars back in '98, there was a cigar store in Scottsdale called Village Smoke Shop, and they had doctors and lawyers. The Scottsdale Philharmonic conductor was always in there. They had blue collar guys in there working like me. I worked, customer service, and everything in between. And it's inviting. People are willing to share their experiences. People are willing to share their opinions on different tobaccos, different pipes, different cigars. I had three people that I haven't talked to in I don't know how long. One of them, he found out I hit my 3-year sobriety mark this past January, and I met him through my dad. He used to work for my dad a long time ago, and we were following each other on Facebook and stuff. And he's a guitar builder himself, and he makes pedals. Yeah. And he saw that I liked cigars, and he goes, "I'm going to send you some cigars." So I'm like, "Oh, cool." I said, "Well, I don't want to assume that you're going to send me a bunch, but I don't really have a."
Is that your cigar box?
Yeah.
Dude, that thing is dope.
He goes, I told him, I said, I don't have like a big humidor to put them in. He goes, well, here's a couple pictures. Pick one.
Oh, wow.
And he's like, he goes, I got like 4 or 5 that are just sitting here I'm not using. He goes, so I'll send that too, and I'll send a bunch of cigars over to you.
Dude.
And I'm like, what? And then he sent me his 3-year coin. He's also a recovering alcoholic.
Yeah.
And when he worked for my dad, he hit his 3-year mark. And I had just hit my 3-year mark, so he sent me his 3-year AA coin.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's huge.
It was, yeah. Even to that, like right now, I'm struggling not to like.
Yeah.
Because it's amazing.
Yeah.
And that is this community. They are, there have been people that have posted on Instagram going, I lost my job. You're not going to see me for a while. Just wanted people to know I'm okay, but I've got some shit going on. And next, people are setting up GoFundMes and raising, $2,500, $3,500 just to help them out and go, hey, here's just to make sure you have food and some of your bills get paid.
Make sure you land in a decent position to be able to progress.
Yeah.
Yeah. And get back on your feet.
It is so just completely insane just how amazing this community is, and especially via online, where typically you think of online and internet as so impersonal. And that's one of those good things that we have with different social media platforms is if used and when used correctly, it can be an amazing thing.
How like most everybody thought it was gonna go,
Yeah.
It's just we're so savages, man, and we just react to all the negative so much.
Yeah.
But I experienced much what you were experiencing when I got into golf this last September. My workout group, I got a couple guys that gave me pretty much what I'm playing with right now. I haven't purchased. Well, there was a guy on OfferUp selling 5 sets of clubs for $100. Come to find out, I had to throw away 10 of them, 10 of the clubs. One was a left-handed set, and the other one was a women's set. So I had maybe like 6 clubs to choose from. But yeah, I had one of my softball buddies gave me a driver,
nice,
and I was like, thanks. They're like, yeah, golf is awesome. Like, here, let's do it and let's go more often. And yeah, I experienced much of the same from my core group of friends. It wasn't like people over the interwebs. Yeah. But that's amazing. That's beautiful. I've been enjoying getting into the cigar game myself.
Yeah.
And that was after, my dad was a chronic smoker. He had surgery because he had cancerous tissue from smoking, and then that was in like the early 90s, and then just smoked until his death, Yeah. That was his thing. That's what he was going to do. So I never really got into cigarettes, but cigars in my mind are a different game because I'm not
totally different game.
I'm not inhaling them into my lungs. Nope. Yeah, it gets in and around my mouth, but it's more of it's not a thing where it's like I got to do that. I got to do. Oh, it's 3:00. I got to do this. I got to do that. No, it's a cigar.
No, as soon as as soon as the smoking part, becomes I got to do it. I got to do it. That's where it becomes problematic. Like I am still a cigarette smoker. It's one thing that I know that I have to kick. But I'm a nicotine junkie. Not that I'm extremely overly proud, but I'm a smoker. I try to radically reduce how much I smoke by consuming nicotine and other still harmful but much less harmful. So I vape. I also dip. And I have my pipes and cigars.
Yeah.
And so I'm like my Instagram and YouTube channel could be nicotine junkie,
I mean, nicotine has its beneficial properties for it.
Absolutely. It's like chocolate or cocoa and coffee and everything.
It's like somebody that bakes all the time and then eats your baked goods. Like, that's not good for you either.
No. Well, somebody that eats nothing but, Big Macs.
Yeah.
It's not good. And there are certain things that, as my dad always said, too much of anything is probably not a great thing.
Yeah, for sure.
Too much sleep, your body starts getting lethargic. You start being tired just because you're tired.
Yeah.
Too much money can cause problems.
Drinking too much water.
Too much water, too much alcohol, too much sex, too much of anything.
I'll never have that last one.
Well,
I've yet to hit that mark.
Yeah. But usually when you put TOO in front of something, it's typically not a great thing,
Ooh,
and
I like that.
And there are certain things where too little of something can not be a great thing. And that's why it's if you put TOO in front of it.
I like that. The two prefix bad, two suffix good. I like that.
Yeah.
But that's true about the or I read an article or read the title or somebody told me about it. I don't know how I came across this information. Anyways, it confirmed one of my biases where it's three groups of people. People that didn't drink at all, people that drank too much, and people that moderately drank.
Yeah.
The immune system of the people that moderately drank was better than the ones that didn't at all, which is surprising. And of course, the ones that did, that, drank regularly, like heavily.
Yeah, well, both categories are going to be better than the one that drank heavily.
Yeah. But the one that drank moderately, you induced a certain level of stress on your body that it has to kind of work and combat, which, I tell folks, it's like working out. Running is not good for your knees. That's why those elliptical bikes are really good for you because it's easy on the joints.
Yep. Swimming.
Yeah, swimming is huge. But the trade-off to exercising is that you're going to be in overall better health, but you are going to put your body into some sort of stress.
Yeah, yeah.
And if you can self-induce that stress, that's way better for you than what kills most of us, which is the shit you can't control.
Yeah.
The regular stress of life.
Oh, yeah.
But that was surprising to me because you would think that the people that weren't drinking at all would be better off, but it's actually, hey, you have to induce a little poison.
Yeah. Well, and it's not just, when you look at other countries like Italy.
Yeah.
Where typically everybody drinks wine. Like even the 12-year-old is having a glass of frickin' wine.
And eating pasta. And
carbs and there are certain things within, especially when you get into specifics like wine, there are certain antioxidants, there are certain health benefits to drinking wine that isn't just, like you said, putting your body into a little bit of stress. There's good things within it that help your body. There's, like you say, exercising. If you are, at my height, 5'6", I should be, according to all of the body mass index bullshit, says I should be like 145 pounds. And I'm like, no, no way. Yeah. Realistically, I should be at 160, 165.
Yeah.
And right now I'm pushing like 200. 2020 was not good to me. And I know that when I start working out again, and start going, okay, I got to do this. I did it before and got down to, like the 170 mark.
Oh, yeah.
I can do that again. It's not a big deal. And I remember when I did it last time, my knees hurt so bad. Mm-hmm. But once I lost the weight and I was no longer carrying that extra 20 pounds, it became a lot easier for my knees to recover.
Yeah.
And so my knees didn't hurt all the time. Mm-hmm. Once I lost the weight, and then it was just, okay, now I just have to maintain it.
Yeah.
And you get to that maintenance stage where it's more about your nutrition than it is about the working out.
Yep.
That's when I really noticed. I was like, wow, my knees don't hurt as bad as they used to. And I just got done running, 1.5 miles, 2 miles, on the treadmill.
Yeah.
And my knees, they're sore because I worked out. Just like if you do 100 push-ups.
Yeah.
You're going to be sore.
Oh, yeah.
But that's because you just did 100 damn push-ups. It's not like you just woke up randomly and went, oh, my shit hurts. No, you did something. But the recovery was so much faster.
Yes.
And it was like, okay, within, a day, I was like, oh, my knees don't hurt anymore.
Yeah.
Cool. Then I know that, okay, because I do know that I have knee issues, I can't do certain things back-to-back days. Mm-hmm. And most people will tell you shouldn't do the same shit back-to-back days because you got to let your body recover.
Recovery is the biggest part.
Yeah. Good sleep, plenty of water, putting good fuel in your body, and you won't snap nothing.
And good form. Having good form. That's where
good form.
That's when I get injured is when I oh dude, I feel so old right now, but I played golf yesterday and on the 5th hole on I teed off with the driver. So big swing and I freaking pulled my hip, dude, inside. And I'm just just holding the pose and it was a beautiful hit. Because I've been sucking ass all day. Beautiful hit up the gut. Everybody's like, wow. And I just go, ah. They're like, you all right? I was like, that hurts so bad.
No.
I threw my hip. It was, the alignment was totally off. And I'm paying for it right now.
Oh no.
Getting out of the car is just killing me right now.
That's right. We went yesterday. We had we had a birthday party for my now 15-year-old son.
Yeah.
And we had a bunch of his friends over, and one of our buddies was a high school quarterback. And so him and my son and a couple of his buddies are always talking smack because they play football in high school, and they're like, let's go to the park and play 2-on-2, the old dudes against us young guys. We're like, okay,
yeah,
let's go. And 10 minutes out, and now this was middle of the day yesterday.
Ooh, yeah.
And what did it hit yesterday? 98?
Yeah, it had a nice breeze, but
not down here.
Oh no,
not down here. Not until later in the day we got
the mountain
nice
blocking
breeze.
you.
Yeah. We went out, and of course we destroyed. We completely destroyed.
You had the years of wisdom,
and brute strength. They underestimated, especially me being smaller, and unfortunately right now I'm a little bit more fluffy than usual, and so they were a little surprised that he can because it was tackle.
Oh yeah,
we're like, we're playing tackle.
And you got a low base, and you got a low base of,
and they were like, I think they were a little shocked,
by
some of that, but literally after 10 minutes, I'm like, I'm fucking dying.
Hey,
I'm dying. We just played 10 minutes. I need a 20-minute halftime. Seriously, I literally just walked home thinking, this is it. I'm gonna die. This is gonna be what kills me.
And then you spit out your dip.
No, I don't. I can't play sports with dip in my mouth.
Ain't that wild? Some people do that.
It is. I mean, if we just go out and throw a football around, or if we're throwing a baseball around, something like that, then that's one thing. But if I'm playing, no, I can't. I'm gonna end up swallowing it, and I'm gonna get a tummy ache. And I'm gonna have to go over to the sideline and puke. And no, I don't want none of that. So that's what you were saying. So you were telling me when we first started talking about doing this podcast, you were saying it was over one of your posts about a cigar where you had smoked a little too fast.
Oh yeah, that was on Sunday.
Yeah,
which it happened one other time where I was just really going at it. But both.
And
what I realized,
did you have plenty of food before you smoked?
Yes.
Okay.
I did, but what it was that it was windy out, so I was struggling to keep it lit, and I didn't want to keep relighting it. So when it got really low and I noticed, I was like, oh shoot. And I got it and I sucked it like maybe like 6 or 7 times like, just to get it going. I was like, okay, there it is. And then, next thing you know, and I had been drinking, not anything heavy. But, I just was sitting there outside and I was like, I got to lay down. I just lay down on the concrete. The wife and her cousin are like, you okay?
Let me give you a little secret.
Yeah.
Okay. What you experienced was nicotine hit.
Yeah.
Nicotine OD.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh yeah.
Sugar.
Oh, okay.
Swig of soda. Like no shit, legit, a spoonful of sugar.
Just glucose. Yeah.
It's sugar. Yeah.
Yeah. Because I laid down for maybe like 8-10 minutes, and then Gabby was like, all right, we got to go. She's like, I'll drive. I was like, all right, yeah, you'll need to drive. And sugar, I got up and then
everything spun again,
and then went straight to the bathroom, threw up real quick, and then I was like, okay, I'm all right, and then slept on the way home.
Yeah. No, sugar.
Good to know.
Yep.
Well,
you can do a spoonful of sugar, a candy bar. For me, soda works best.
Yeah. Okay. Good.
Soda does work best.
Good to know. Yeah, because in that moment I was like, I don't know, just give me more water like that. But I'll get some sugar in my system, and that'll help.
And literally, I've had that a few times. Not ever with pipes. I've had a couple cigars because I typically like straight up kick you in the dick cigars.
Really?
Like strong, full bodied.
Do you have one in there?
I do.
You mind if we light up? Or?
Oh, I was just gonna.
Let's do it, buddy.
Let's do it. I don't know how long you want this thing to go for. So I mean, we could be here all damn night.
Let's go. I'm excited. These are beautiful collections, man.
All right. So do you want something mellow, or do you want something that's kick you in the face?
Yeah, let me do one of those.
Kick you in the face?
Yeah, get me in the face. Ooh. With the big boot, combat boot.
This is a Camacho triple Maduro.
Whoa, holy shit. Look at that
thing.
So
are you familiar with Maduro?
Maduro sounds familiar.
So Maduro is the...
Get a look at that sucker.
So you have Connecticut wrapper. Yeah, it's a big boy. That there is my all-time favorite cigar.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Dude.
Yeah. Now I've never had that size.
Okay.
That size, but the Camacho triple Maduro is hands down easily top 3, if not my top 1 favorite cigar ever. But you have Maduro wrapper, you have Connecticut wrapper. So if you look at this guy, see how that shade of the wrapper is much lighter. So that's going to be a Connecticut wrapper.
Gotcha. Okay.
Typically, now the wrapper doesn't always mean that, dark wrapper doesn't mean big and strong and, bold and the strength of it. Mm-hmm. It also is from what's inside.
Yeah, because it's
the binder and the filler.
There's an art to that, right? The type of leaves that they put in. So it's not all going to be the same leaf.
No. That's cigars that are all the same leaf are boring.
There's no boring. It's like the same old story.
Exactly. And now there are times when I want a cigar that's just, it is what it is. Mm-hmm. It's like I have these cheapy budget cigars from a company called JR Cigars.
Yeah.
And these guys are... Oh, yeah, it's probably covering my face. I'm sorry.
That beautiful face.
I don't know if it's beautiful or not, but it is mine. They call it a Cuban sandwich. So what they do is, that stick is that cigar there is like a $3 stick.
$3, yeah.
It's super budget. Mm-hmm. I think I bought a pack of 20 for $40. So I think they were $2 each. And those are referred to as Cuban sandwiches. So it's a real Connecticut wrapper. So it's not like a gas station cigar where it's a paper wrapper to look like a cigar, like a tobacco leaf. It's all premium tobacco, but these guys are going to be long filler. So what that means is you have the wrapper, you have the binder, and then you have the filler. The filler is leaf, long pieces of the tobacco leaf that are then bunched together.
Yeah.
This here is made from the clippings of these guys.
Gotcha. Okay.
So it's the same quality of tobacco. It's just little small pieces.
Yeah.
So they burn a lot faster. They tend to burn a little hotter. So you got to smoke them a little slower.
Gotcha.
There is a whether you follow it or not is up to you, the individual smoker. There is a recommended cadence for smoking a cigar.
A drag a minute?
Yeah, it's like 1 to 2 a minute. Yeah. Anything more than that, you want that cherry to stay right here at the end. You don't want to have a big cone of a cherry on the end of your cigar. You want it to be very flat and very even.
Oh, as it goes down, yeah.
Yeah.
But you want what's that called?
Ash.
The ash. You want a good amount of that at the end, typically, to maybe have it cool down. Yeah.
There are some guys. You want it to burn evenly. You don't want it to burn wonky. You want it to burn even.
Yeah.
And a large part of that is how well you light it.
How well you light it, maybe how it sat in the humidor for a while.
Yeah,
maybe.
Yeah, there's definitely aspects of. Oh shit!
How dare you? Explain.
That's it. I'm out of here. No, it's like for me, I'm still at a point where I can't really tell if it's the construction or quality of the cigar or if it's my lack of giving a shit about how I light it. So chances are it is my lack of attention to the detail of how I'm lighting it. And I'm trying to work on that so I can get better. Plus I'll, get better at lighting it so I can get better at tasting. I watch videos of guys that are like, I'm tasting nutmeg, nutmeg with a little dash of orange rind. And
that's how I felt with Austin's podcast where we did a whole whiskey podcast, and he was like, "Tell me what you taste." So I was like, "I taste whiskey."
I taste whiskey, yeah.
He's all, "Well, I'm getting like hints of." I'm like,
"Okay, hints dude. of last year's Walnut Grove." It's like I don't know.
They said this was a 3-year-old barrel, but I think it was a 2.5. I don't know.
I think they lied. I think it's 2 years and 9 months.
So I noticed this one has a different type of cut on it. It's a punch cut.
Yeah. So I actually already cut that for you.
Yeah.
That's a V cut.
Oh, V cut. Yeah. A punch cut is just a hole.
A punch cut is going to be this guy here.
We got cutters up here too. God damn.
Is going to be this guy. I don't know where my V cut is. I had it earlier and I'm like it vanished on me. I have no idea where it went.
You would put it up there and then just boom.
Yep.
It's almost like what you would kill a cow with, like one of those bolts.
Kinda, yeah. Yeah, a little bit.
Interesting. Okay. So, wait, do you kind of like stick it in because it's got and then push it?
Yeah. Yeah, so if you want to go ahead and open that guy up and we can punch that guy open.
Should I do a punch or should I do a traditional cut? Oh no.
Like I said, I don't have my V. I don't have a traditional cut. Oh. Unless you brought one with you.
I think I got one in my bag, but no, we'll try this. All right. So
you want to take this band off the foot? Yes. You want to bring that guy off?
So I'll marry this one, dude. Yeah. Sorry, Gabby.
It's weird. I keep forgetting that there's a camera there.
It's all right. That's how it should be.
So now what you want to do is before you do anything, you want to take in the cigar. Because you've purchased, let's say you're in a cigar store. Don't do this if you're at a cigar store and you haven't bought it yet because nobody wants your nose on their cigar. But once you've purchased it, smell the cigar. Smell the foot. Like get your nose right into the foot. Like put it right up to your nostril and really smell the foot.
That's tobacco.
Yep. So now what you want to do, once you've experienced that, now you want to kind of
chocolatey, actually.
Yeah. Yeah, Maduro tends to have a little bit of a sweetness to it. A little bit of that cocoa-y, chocolatey, nuttiness, a little leather in there as well.
Yeah.
Not that I've ever been able to taste the leather part. Well, hang on before you do that.
Okay.
Right now, it's essentially, we'll figure it has been in a humidifier.
Yeah.
So it's at proper humidity, but for all intents and purposes, it's dry.
Yes.
Right?
Okay.
If you go pushing that punch in there, or even if you're using a straight guillotine cutter.
Gotcha.
French kiss the end of that damn cigar.
Okay. Should I pull this off now?
Nope.
Okay.
Nope. Leave that on. Okay. So just put it in your mouth and just kind of taste it. Kind of just let your tongue kind of roll around on it. Cigars are all about the full getting the most experience and the most pleasure out of the experience. So now you don't want to soak it.
I was going to say, they want me to see me sucking on this. Ooh, there it is. Tangy now.
Yep. So
Ooh,
now,
it's got a little spice.
Oh yeah, it's definitely got some pepper in there.
So now it's well lubricated.
So now you're
I'm
well.
Censor this part out. Parental warning.
What is? Do you watch that guy Uncle Roger?
No.
Yeah, you don't know about Uncle Roger?
All right, here we go. Cutscene.
You got to check out Uncle Roger.
Is he do cigar videos or just random videos?
No, he's a new phenomenon that's really jumped off. Especially, I found him on Facebook.
Yeah.
He's Malaysian living in London.
Okay.
He started off as I think he's got like a PhD in engineering or a master's in engineering.
Yeah.
But he was doing stand-up comedy. And then he created this character, Uncle Roger.
Uncle Rogers.
And he does basically critiques food videos,
yeah.
Specifically egg fried rice.
Okay.
And he has a saying that like he'll make like some kind of like adult kind of themed joke or make a comment that's kind of naughty.
Innuendo.
And he'll break character and go, "Sorry, children."
Yeah, sorry, children, for that visual. Not a visual. I literally did it.
So now you're going to take the punch there and put it right in the middle, and you're going to gently press. Don't push that button yet.
No, I'm just.
So you're going to gently push and twist.
So delicate. Scalpel. Tweezers.
Forceps.
Yeah, retractor. All right.
So now you
I don't know.
You got it. Got it all the way through.
Pull off. How far do I go? To that first little lip?
Yeah, I usually go to the end of that first little chamfer there.
Yeah, I'm at the end of that little groove.
So now go ahead and take it out. No, don't push that button yet.
Okay.
Take it out.
Okay. So scared.
And now, so now you'll just pull that off.
Okay.
That usually is what will go into the punch there.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Oh, and then this is just to punch it out.
And then that just punches out the.
Gotcha. I thought that was to punch in the hole.
No.
Oh, that makes sense. Okay.
So now you should be good. So now take a draw on it.
That seems like
do a dry draw, what they call a dry draw.
A dry draw, huh?
Does it feel super tight?
No, that felt good.
No? Okay.
No, that feels good. And
but now you do the dry draw and you can start.
Total chocolate, dude. I'm telling you, this is gave me a flavored cigar. I didn't know I was drinking.
It is not a flavored cigar. So now when you light, so you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and smoke this guy since it's already
away from it, right?
Well, hang on. Let me show you here.
All right. Getting an education.
Since I already got this guy cut, so.
It's got some spice to it.
You don't want the flame to touch.
Because then you get
cigar.
the flavor of the flame.
Because you get burned.
Okay.
You get burnt. And you don't want burnt and charred. So you just get it close enough to where you start seeing the end of the cigar. See, right about there.
Whoa.
And then you want to hit the outside edges. That is the... At the offset is the most important because you want to seal it. When you hit the edges, you're kind of sealing that wrapper into the binder. Okay. And then once you have a good even around the edge, then you just start going.
Yeah, such a pro.
I'm no pro. I'm just getting kind of lucky here today. So then you get it to that point. Blow out. And now I like to use, for this part, a soft flame. Oh, no. And then I'll use the torch to kind of...
Hit that revolver.
You like that?
Damn, brother.
And then you just go around, and now you're
Now you're in business. All right. Time to make a fool of myself. Let's do it.
I keep hitting the stand. I'm sorry.
You're right. I see it. Go around. Maybe I'm too close.
Yeah, you only want to get it as close as you need to.
Okay.
Because you're really wanting to use the heat of the flame.
Should I get a little bit more of a black lip on it?
You won't get as dark as mine because it's
true.
a lighter wrapper. So there's more contrast there. So as long as you see that there's kind of a little bit of a lip of ash around the entire edge, you're pretty much good to go.
Yeah, because before I would like get right up in there. I get right up in there and then like just put the heat on it.
And then the very first, you need to blow
Blow
out.
it out, yeah.
Yep. And then if you're not really getting anything, what you can do is you can take this guy.
Get that going, yeah. I'll need to do that. Oh.
I'm not the only one. Get it a little closer. There you go. Now spin the cigar as you're doing that in your mouth. Kind of rotate it around.
I'm going to roll with that.
There we go.
And that, folks, is how you light a cigar.
One way. That's one way to light a cigar.
A proper,
And that's the beautiful thing with pipes and
put that in there before it.
That's the beautiful thing with pipes and cigars is that any person that tells you that this is the way you have to do it, they're full of shit.
Yeah.
They're full of shit. There's recommendations.
Yeah.
This is how I do it. There's, guys will argue about how to cut a cigar. If you're not using an exact 45-degree angle V cut, then you're not smoking. You're missing out on your experience. And it's like, dude, what?
It's my experience,
For
buddy.
you, okay. And again, it's one of those things that I really enjoy about this kind of community is very similar to guitars, is if everybody liked the same guitar, then we wouldn't have anything but Strats and Tellys and Les Pauls.
Yeah.
And as much as I love those, they'd be kind of boring.
Yeah.
You'd have no PRS, you'd have no Ibanez, you'd have no Dean, you'd have no ESP, you'd have no,
any other company that
any
came
other
out.
company that does something that's not,
You're run of the mill.
Yeah. And cigars are the same way. That's why there are hundreds of thousands of different cigars out there. That's why in the pipe world, that's why there's, a shit ton of different pipe shapes and pipe makers and tobaccos. There's got to be, like, no joke, there's probably got to be at least 1 million different types of tobacco blends.
Yeah, let's talk about these because you have to select. Oh, sorry. You have to select actual tobacco for your pipe.
Yes.
Right. So what's, I guess, intro to tobacco leaves for your pipe?
Buy a little bit of everything and try it and figure out what you like.
Little dime bag here, a little dime bag there.
Yep.
Yeah.
There are, unfortunately, the days of brick and mortar tobacconists are pretty much gone. Most places are, even good cigar places aren't tobacconists. And for pipes and pipe tobacco, it really takes a tobacconist to really be able to really educate and inform. Luckily, we now have places like YouTube, where I've done reviews and my opinions and thoughts on different tobaccos and stuff. So the information is out there. You're just getting it a different way. And there's really not a whole lot of good cigar places that carry a whole lot of pipe tobacco or pipe stuff, period.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of like the main place I've been to is Fox Cigar.
They don't do any pipe stuff.
There's no.
They
right?
used to.
I'm looking. I'm trying to remember. I've been there like 3 or 4 times.
Which one?
The one on
the one in Scottsdale Chandler? Okay, so the one on Williamsfield?
Yeah, that
okay.
One, that one.
If you walk in where they have the lighters on the wall, the lighters and cutters.
Oh, yeah.
They used to have one portion of that wall display that had some like tins of Drew Estate tobacco. And that's only because they carry Drew Estate's cigars.
Gotcha.
So, Drew Estates makes acid cigars. They make, they make so much stuff. Drew Estates. They're insane.
This is a good.
Yeah. What are you thinking of that guy so far?
It's good, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's got some spice to it, for sure. It's got that chocolatey initial hit.
That's what I love about the triple Maduro is that chocolate is very pronounced.
And look at that burn. You be sitting here with this one for a minute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that is a large cigar. That's easily an hour and a half, 2 hour cigar.
This is the biggest one I've had for sure. You are the biggest one I've had.
That's right. You heard it here.
So I've seen some bags.
Sorry, children.
I've seen some bags of tobacco, like at the smoke shop and all that. But even like the smoke shop by my place, they're not geared for cigars in general.
No, tobacco. There's a place in Mesa called Big Sticks. And that's right on Main and I want to say Dobson.
Yeah, but Riverview area, right?
No, it's for maybe it's not Dobson.
Oh no, Main.
No, it is Dobson. Main and Dobson. It's right up by the new trolley tracks.
Yeah, was it next to where the Blockbuster used to be?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's on the south.
That's going back.
It's on the southeast corner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
They have quite a few tins of tobacco, good stuff that people want, and that's the hard thing to find is tobaccos that you want, and
instead of like the little stuff just to satisfy like somebody coming in real quick and say, oh, you know what, I need that.
Yeah, they've got a pretty good assortment of pipes. They've got a really good assortment of the premium pipe tobaccos, and they also have a really good assortment of the bulk tobacco that just is in jars and you buy by the ounce. But for tobaccos, it's really just figuring out what it is that you like. There's so many, like those 4 tins right there are all very radically different.
Damn, I thought this was just like finished stuff, like woodworking.
No, that's pipe tobacco.
Ooh, smells good. See, I never liked smoking cigarettes, but I love the smell of tobacco.
Yeah. And then you have...
Oh, this one's fruity.
Yeah, the White Lightning is just a touch fruity. That has a lot more Virginia tobaccos, which typically is going to be a little bit more, almost kind of citrusy.
Yeah.
It's like a citrusy hay. And then that one there that you got there, the Beast.
Ooh.
That is actually blended with some cigar leaf.
Okay.
Cigar tobacco.
Yeah,
that is strong stuff. That'll put some hair on your chest.
It's even darker than it's darker than the rest too.
Oh yeah.
It's like this shade, if not darker.
Yep.
Woo.
And then you have the almighty, what most pipe smokers start on that don't know any better, is aromatics.
Buttered rum.
And you can smell that probably from there.
Oh yeah. Whoa.
Yeah. That is kind of my guilty pleasure.
That's like a Christmas smoke right there.
Yeah. This is I don't smoke. When I first started smoking a pipe, I smoked the butter rum and they call it aromatic. It's topped with artificial flavorings.
Oh, gotcha.
And that's typically what I started smoking. And then I found other stuff that was non-aromatic, the Virginia tobaccos, the Latakia. Latakia is very and a lot of this is how it's processed. is the aging process, the curing process. Like Perique is not a type of tobacco. Perique is a fermentation process. The tobacco is burley tobacco, but with how it's processed and how it's fermented over months, if not years, it changes and then it becomes Perique.
Gotcha.
And so it's more about the process than it is about the tobacco.
Yeah, it's almost like champagne is just white wine, but made in a certain part of France, right? Ah.
Yep.
Oh, shit, man, there's so much shit to know.
One
thing real quick I want to ask, is there any benefit to that hole being offset, or is that just you fucking up?
That is me fucking up.
Okay, I just want to make sure.
That was,
you could have bullshitted me and said, if it's got a smaller ledge over here. Yeah.
So that pipe there is actually the very first pipe I ever made. That was a Christmas present from my wife a couple years back. She bought they call them basically kits. So it's a pre-drilled pipe blank.
Yeah.
So it starts off as just a block of wood with 2 holes drilled in it. A drill for your tobacco chamber and a drill and a hole for your stem.
Gotcha.
You do everything else.
Gotcha.
And I had my lathe sitting right over there. I had my lathe and I didn't get it centered right. And so the hole got completely out of whack.
This one's cool.
Yeah, that's another Instagram artisan guy. I can never, I don't know how to pronounce his last name. Gasike. He's here in the States. I know I'm butchering his name, and I've never asked him how to pronounce his name.
You think he might find it as an insult?
I hope not. If you do see this, I'm so sorry. But he, this another part of the community that's absolutely amazing is he had posted a picture of a pipe that he just finished, and I had commented, I'm like, man, one of these days I need to add one of your pipes to my collection. Well, he sent me a DM and goes, hey, over on my Etsy page, any pipe that's $125 or $125 or less, let me know which one you want and I'll send it over to you.
Damn.
And that one is just like, I love that. It's just got these weird angles and...
Yeah, it's almost like...
But it feels so good. It hangs really well in the mouth.
Does
it's...
Oh, because of the
bend on it, yeah.
Yeah, the bend on it. That is so cool, man. So when it shows up, what's it look like when it shows up?
What do you mean? The pipe?
Yeah.
Looks like a... Oh, you mean the raw block?
Yeah, the raw block.
That's as close as you're going to get that I have.
Gotcha. Because essentially you could cut it down and then bring it out this way.
Yeah, so this one actually started... so this is going to be a full bend pipe. Because you can see the stem comes up this way. So this is going to be a short pipe. Or not short pipe, a straight pipe.
Straight pipe.
Or a straight stem pipe. And even that's not really straight. But anyway.
It's the Gandalf.
I have that inside, actually.
What?
It's not the Gandalf. I have the Aragorn, the Ranger.
Oh.
Yeah. But this one started off as just a square block this way, this way, this way, and came out to here. So this didn't come up or come down much more than this.
Gotcha.
Because it was already kind of pre-rough cut into just squared edges. And instead of putting this on my lathe and turning it, I just went, I'm just going to do what's called a free hand on it. And I'm just going to use my disc sander and then my Dremel, and I'll do the final shaping, and it won't be intended to be perfectly symmetrical. It'll be more in line with that kind of weird one where it might have weird angles on it and weird divots and stuff, because it's just a free hand. And I've never done one before, and I'm like,
yeah, makes it more, I don't know.
It makes it complete 100% one-off.
Yeah, one-off, custom.
Yep.
Oh, I miss this big boy right here. I'm going to call this one the Slug.
That one is another experiment gone horribly wrong. But everything is a learning experience, and it smokes like a champ. It smokes great. Functionality-wise, it works great. But if you look at it that way,
Oh, yeah.
That was not by design. There are some guys that do that where they will kind of have the stem come out at an angle and then they'll heat the stem up and bend it and bring it back. Ooh. And they call it a swimming fish or a swimming guppy or something like that. Yep.
Yeah.
And they look really super cool. If that was something that I intended, then I did a smashing job. But it was something that I was trying with a piece of Briar that I knew was garbage. That's my workhorse one that you got there.
Oh, so this is the daily.
That's the daily driver. That's the one that...
It's even prepped already.
Oh, yeah.
Briars.
So
my wife's going to hate you.
Another guy from... So he made this one and this one here. So this one he calls his baby dragon. Mm-hmm. I believe what he's doing with these is he's having these pre-made in a factory, and then he buys them and then he does all the rustication to them. So they become an affordable. It's kind of like the difference between like a Fender and a Squier.
Okay.
Where it's, he doesn't have the $150 Squier. He's got like the $400 classic vibe. You know what I mean? Where it's not a piece of shit. It's a great guitar, but it's more affordable for more people.
For more people.
That's what he does with this one. This one here, with everything that I had done, I think it was $65. Is
that a baseball type of design or just coming off that way?
No, so this is... Oh, the design on there, he calls that his biomechanical.
Gotcha, okay.
And this is called an author shape.
Author shape.
Yeah.
Name after who? Hemingway?
I have no idea. I should probably know that, but I don't. And then this one is a full 100% custom. This is called a Baby Bing. So are you familiar with Bing Crosby?
Bing Crosby, Stills and Nash.
No.
Damn it.
White Christmas.
White Christmas.
I'm dreaming of a white Christmas. Nice.
I cannot sing worth a damn. Sorry about that.
I wanted to do a Bing, but I didn't want it to be... And Bing Crosby smoked a very long, straight stem. So this is a corncob version of a Bing.
Okay.
This is closer to actual size. So you can see where this one is...
You say this was a petite?
That's a baby.
Baby, okay.
Yeah, we call it a baby Bing, is what Josh called it, the maker.
The maker, yeah.
I keep forgetting there's a camera, so I'll put it up there. So you see that there's one that's definitely a little bit more petite. But I didn't want it to be huge because I wanted this to be kind of like my super elegant, like if I'm going out to like a nice restaurant and after I eat, I go outside and I want to smoke a pipe. I want this guy. It's not a huge bowl. I can finish this bowl in like 10 minutes, 15 minutes.
Okay.
And it's just a beautiful pipe. I love the black and red, the black and red stem, the black stummel. It's super classy.
It is very classy.
And so he was like, "Oh, you want to do a baby? You want to do a little baby one?" I went, "Yeah, I do, bastard, and I'm going to pay you for it, so shut up."
Because this one, I noticed that this one still has some tobacco in it.
Oh, does it really?
Yeah.
Oh, that means I did a shitty job cleaning it up. Sorry.
I figure you might have been smoking that earlier. No. So when you take this, so you say you go out to dinner and you're expecting to smoke this later, right? Mm-hmm. So do you have like a little travel case for your tobacco or what's?
Not yet.
So I
have
for
one.
Right now. It's just like in a baggie. Or?
So typically, what I'll do is I'll preload the pipe.
How do you ensure it not like falling out though? Did you have it?
So you have a, and I didn't bother to bring any out. You have what's called pipe cleaners. Mm-hmm. Like you can find them at Walmart, like the craft section. Mm-hmm. You typically don't want to use those because those are not high enough quality, and you're going to end up getting all that fiber and lint and shit in your pipe. Yeah. But essentially, what it is, it's like a little craft thing. And they have different ones. They've got really super long ones for those church warden, Gandalf ones, and they've got ones that have little like plastic nubbins to help scrub and clean.
Oh no, I'm talking about how do you ensure that you...
So what you do is you take one of those pipe cleaners and you coil it up into a coin.
Oh, okay.
And then you stuff it on top.
Man, you threw me a screwball.
Hey, we were talking about baseball earlier, and hey, I was known for a wicked knuckleball back in the day.
Back in the late 80s. What are you going to do with all those cards, man? You hanging on to them?
I'm still trying to figure. You talk about the baseball cards?
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out if I've got anything that's worth anything. And I don't know of anybody that's knowledgeable enough that's going to actually be straight up and truthful and tell me what I got.
Yeah, I can reach out to the guys that I know. And
that
see
would
if
be
they'd
awesome.
be interested just to take a look.
Just take a look and see if I've got anything of interest. Because I mean, I have no. It's like I've got a shoot. I mean, I've got a Frank Thomas rookie card. I've got a Ken Griffey rookie card. And when I was doing research on them, the tops ones aren't worth shit, and it's the Fleer and Upper Deck and all that are the ones that are worth the money.
Gotcha.
And so that's why I'm like, well, and again, they don't have card shops like they used to back when I was a kid, where you could go to an actual card shop. There used to be one in Scottsdale that I could go to as a kid that was just all cards. Baseball, basketball, football cards, NASCAR cards. I mean, I didn't realize that every single thing that could have a card has cards.
Did they have Pokemon cards?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
You have to.
Yeah, because that was when Pokemon was getting really big back in my day. Because remember, I'm probably a few years older than you are.
Yeah, I'm 33.
Oh, fucking hell. I'm 7 years older, 8 years older than you are.
It's a good draw. But I'm saying my wife's going to hate you because now I'm going to need to get myself a pipe and some tobacco and...
dude, we'll get you.
Ride the experience.
We'll get you. Now, based on... So here's... And then you were asking about this long one here. So this is a clay pipe. It's 100% clay. And
well, hold on. Explain to me the process.
They take clay and they put it in a mold and they close the mold and then they take it out of the mold and they put it in a kiln and they dry it. Just like any type of clay.
How do you drill that hole there? I mean, you
don't. And so when it's clay, and so when you're making it, so when you're making it, it's clay. You can. It's like if you had a potter's wheel and you're forming a vase or something.
Yeah.
So it's pliable. So what they have is they've got a rod.
Yeah.
That is in this exact shape. So some of them are straight, some of them are curved, some of them are more curved.
Yeah.
And so they have a rod that goes in there that's set to the same curve, and the clay is basically packed around it. And so when it dries, they just slide. When they go to put it in the kiln, they just slide that metal rod out and put it in the kiln, and it dries.
Damn.
Yeah, it's the oldest, one of the oldest forms of a pipe.
Whoa, that makes total sense. Yeah, I would have thought it would have been a wood one, but no, that makes more sense. Before there was actually woodworking tools and like metals. Yeah.
Well, and you figure like Native Americans, it was a lot of rocks.
Yeah. Dude.
It was a lot of rocks, and because there was really no woods at that time, at least here in the Americas, there was really no wood that was dense enough to really handle burning herbs or burning tobacco. And remember, in the Americas, we didn't have tobacco until was 1600s, 1700s.
And they brought it over.
Mm-hmm.
The cash crop.
Yeah. And so, and again, I'm not any expert in it, so I'm sure that somebody's going to be like, he's full of shit. Here's what it really is, and this, that, and the other. I know that it may
People
be.
forget, man, that we're just two dudes talking. People think that just because we post it up on the internet, we claim to be experts about anything.
No, and it's sad because like in all of my YouTube videos, I typically always will make a disclaimer of, I am not an expert in pipe and tobacco or cigars. I am a dude that is giving you my opinions on an experience.
Yeah, exactly.
That is it. I'm giving you my thoughts and opinions on what the cigar tastes like, how the pipe is functioning, and how the tobacco tastes, and what, if I'm getting any notes. Because like we talked about earlier, guys will be like, I taste, hazelnuts and, the sweat of some, Cuban girl's, sweat from a Cuban girl's thighs. And it's like, dude, get the hell. I smell marshmallowy. Shut up. It's like, if you do, then that's awesome. You are experiencing something so far better than I am.
Yeah, right.
And I can only hope to get there someday.
Let me smoke some of that.
That's right.
Whatever he's on, because it's not
Holy
cigars.
moly. But yeah, so I always have to put that little disclaimer on there.
You mind if I grab a soda?
Yeah, go for it.
You got a soda in there?
Yeah, there's 2 of them in there. There's 2 of them in there. Yeah, here, I'll get them.
You good?
Yeah.
All right.
You may have to do some editing on this one.
No, never. Never edit. Give it to them raw. Yeah.
Get nice and ice cold.
Yummy, yummy Dr. Pepper. What time's your lady expecting you to wrap up?
Whenever we wrap up.
Cheers to that.
Oh. So have you thought about growing your beard out?
I did during the pandemic. I did. I had it out to about
I
here.
didn't know. I did. I'm gonna have to go back.
When I was doing all those push-up videos.
Oh yeah, let's not do that. I have bad memories of that.
Yeah, I was doing all those push-up videos, and I had a.
It reminds me of failure.
The failure one was in January. All the workout guys were like, "We're gonna do 100 burpees a day," and I think I did it for 11 days, and I was just having PTSD flashbacks to the push-up challenge because I did 100 a day for 100 days.
Yeah, that's what I tried doing, and I think I made it a week.
Yeah,
I think I made it a week, and then I was just like, my arms hurt so bad.
Yeah.
And then I remember you did a video or a Facebook Live or something where you were talking about it, where it's like, if you don't feel like doing it that day, don't do them that day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And to me, it was kind of like, okay, nothing said 100 push-ups for 100 days consecutively. Yeah. Now, don't do 100 push-ups once every 3 weeks. That does kind of defeat the purpose of it. Yeah. But if you need to take a couple days off, but when I started doing it, I didn't have that ideology. I didn't have that mindset.
It was just go, go, go.
It was 100% or nothing.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like I'm either going to do 100 push-ups every single day, and so the first day that I took a break, I'm like, I feel like shit because I'm taking a break.
Taking a break, yeah. Well, that's what I mentioned earlier, where it's like people think that you have to do everything to the extreme. Like if I'm going to work out, well, I need to be in the gym for 3 hours, and I need to do this, and I need to bench that. If I'm going to pick up golf, well, then I need to make sure that I'm playing a tournament. Or if I'm going to play music, I need to make sure that I can execute these songs, and I have this gig lined up. And if I'm going to get into something, any sort of hobby, people will seem to critique for not being the best at it. And it's like, why can't we just do things just because we enjoy them, even though we suck?
Yeah, I think what it comes down is for me, it's consistency. Mm-hmm. If you think that going to the gym 5 days a week for 3 hours is what you need and what you can be consistent with, go do it. Go do it. But as soon as you're not consistent with it, you failed. And you have to adjust. And failure is, I remember watching the Michael Jordan thing, and how many shots did he say he missed? Where it's like he has some stupid record, and he's like, yeah, let's look at the other record. I also have the most missed shots.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because
I have the most failures in order to get the most of the other good side.
Exactly.
And so failure's not a bad thing, but it's about finding what you can do consistently.
It's a bad thing if you don't learn from it, if you don't take the time to sit back and instead of just wallowing in your failure and be like, no, well, what the hell went wrong? And let's correct.
Yeah.
Correct course.
Yeah. And that's all there, whether it's in a hobby, whether it's in goals or in business, take a business plan. For instance, business plans aren't set in stone.
Yeah.
Business plans are always evolving. Business plans always have to adapt. because the world doesn't stop because your business plan is done. Things happen. Circumstances change. Right now, you were saying earlier that you have certain customers that come into your store that are pissed off because you don't have stuff.
Yeah.
Guess why? Because factories had to shut down last year. And then in guitar industries, some of these companies had the best years they've ever had last year.
Yeah, everybody was buying up equipment.
And they can't backfill them enough. I mean, some of these factories overseas are creating whole new buildings and building new parts of their factories to increase their productivity because companies are ordering 10 times, 20 times more. And so everything is, so not only did you have the delays on what they already had, but now you have even more orders going in.
Yep.
And they've got to try and figure out, okay, how do we increase production? How do we increase what we can build in a day? And so it's trying to navigate and overcome those types of challenges. Everything is always evolving. Everything is always changing. There is no such thing as a perfect system. That's why they have things called lean management and process improvement and things like that, because things are always changing.
Yeah, and you can always improve to an extent. So you can always improve on a platform, on a product, on a service. There's always a way, and it'll shift. Like if you provide a service, the demands from your customer are eventually going to shift. Your type of customer will most likely end up shifting. The demographic, all of that. You have to take into account. So if you just sit back and it's like, well, this is how I always did it, so this is how I'm going to continue, like dead in the water.
You're going to lose.
Yeah.
You're going to lose because something along the lines is going to change. There's going to be a challenge. And it's a matter of can you, like you said, I've always done it this way. Well, just because you've done it this way doesn't mean that it's the best way.
Yeah.
It
might have worked in that period,
for guitar building and for certain guitar repair. Okay. There's a bunch of different ways to refret a neck. Okay. And none of them are truly wrong.
Refret a neck?
Yeah. So you pull the frets out and you put new frets in.
How's there so many different ways?
There's different methods. There's different ways that people learned how to do it. And it doesn't mean that it's wrong as long as the end result is that the frets are...
You took them out?
Yeah.
You took them out and you back in.
I'm basing it off of some assumptions that, But you can, there's multiple ways to do stuff.
Yeah.
And then, and like I said, none of them are technically wrong as long as the outcome is the same. Mm-hmm. However, what is the quickest way from point A to point B?
It's quickest, but also efficient, right?
Exactly. Yeah. It's a straight line, right? And so when it comes to certain aspects of guitar repair, you and I may do something that looks identical at the end, but I get mine done 3 hours faster. You get yours done 3 hours later. Time is money.
Yeah.
The more guitars I can work on in a day means I get more money. My customers are happier. I can do things while you wait. When I was a Guitar Center, I used to tell guys, I'm not really backed up right now, so if you're just looking for a string change or just a setup, go walk around the store. I'll page you in like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
I'll come and find you in 10 minutes. And you'll be able to walk out of here with your guitar. And they're like, what? Yeah. Seriously? Like I took it to so-and-so down the street and they said it was going to be like 3 days. I'm like, well, they're probably backed up and this, that, and the other. And he goes, well, he said, it takes him like 45 minutes to an hour to do a setup. And anybody that says, that they do it faster than that is just a piece of shit.
It depends on how bad it is.
No.
Yeah. I mean, the setup for the technicians there isn't the best. If it was me, we'd have, if I was behind it, set it up here, about a room this big, 2 glass windows, big glass windows. You don't even talk to the customer.
No, I want to talk to the customer.
So you'll sit back. Hold on. Let me tell you. You'll sit back there, and then you'll have another guy working with you, and you guys make sure that you work, 7 days a week, right? Then there's another guy out front, right outside with the little bench that does all the basic restring stuff. That'll check in all the equipment. And then if they need to run anything by the head tech, they would come in and get you and be like, hey, man, check this out.
I want to talk to every single one of my customers.
See, that's where you're a little different than a lot of the techs I've worked with, because a lot of them are just like, just leave me alone, let me work.
Nope. I want to talk to my customer.
Look at that.
I want to know, one, I want them to know that I know what I'm doing. And I'm going to evaluate your guitar, because if I've got somebody else evaluating a guitar and a guitar comes to me and go, you said this guy needed some electronics work and just a setup, dude, his frets are shit.
Totally shit. Yeah.
And so the guy out front has to basically be able to do what I do, because he's got to be able to identify and see these things.
Where did that come from? Your training, though? Would you be able to like
training and experience?
Yeah, be like, hey, this is what I expect you to do. This is what I expect you to look for. But then, yeah, if he's inexperienced,
why would I train somebody to do something that I already do?
Yeah.
And like I said, I want that interaction with the customer. I want to know what problems the customer is having with their guitars.
Yeah.
And it also allows me, as the person doing the repairs, to set expectation. Because if somebody else is setting the expectations, it comes back on me as the guy that did the repair.
Oh, shit. That's a good point. That is a very good point.
So I want to set the expectations, and I want to be able to give options. You know, when I was at Guitar Center, God, I would say 1 out of 5 refrets that I got upgraded to stainless steel.
Mm-hmm.
And, a lot of guys around, especially here, they don't want to touch stainless steel because it chews up your tools. I'm not paying for the tools. Guitar Center is paying for the damn tools. So if I chew through them, I chew through them. Screw it.
Yeah.
I call up so-and-so and go, I need more tools. And they go, what do you need? And I'll order it. And I'll get it out to you. Cool. But I was able to talk to the customer that, super heavy right hand, frets are just destroyed. Hey, I can get this refretted for you. It's going to cost you a little bit more.
But
never again. And then you have these little myths that are floating out there, these little voodoo myths, like stainless steel frets totally changes the tone of your guitar. Nope.
Nah.
Nope.
Is it one of those things that you'd have to like get a machine to measure because we can't really hear it?
It's not even about measuring. There's a bit of a feel difference, and especially if they're polished correctly, I can get stainless steel frets to almost look like chrome.
Yeah,
and be glass. I mean, and be mirrors.
Damn.
So it's smoother, and they last a hell of a lot longer. I mean, my dad's got stainless steel on his main Strat, probably going on 30 years. They still look brand new. Now he's got super light feather left hand touch.
Gotcha.
So he typically doesn't wear regular frets down that fast.
Stevie Ray Vaughan.
But no. But no, I want that interaction with my customer. If I'm the one who's doing the work, I want the interaction with the customer. Now, if it's a basic setup, basic electronic cleaning with some deoxit, restring, stuff like that. Yeah, somebody out in the front who's kind of like the apprentice.
Yeah.
The intern or something like that. Yeah, you can take care of those things. But as soon as it jumps up into anything more than that, send them back here to me, and I'm going to evaluate the guitar with them.
Yeah. And
I'm going to tell them, you're telling me here's what the problems are. I'm identifying here's what we need to do, and I can also identify any other problem areas. Because people don't realize that a guitar is very similar to a car. Mm-hmm. There are some parts that are designed to wear out like strings.
Yep.
And there are other parts that are designed to wear out like tires.
Yeah. Yep.
And there are certain things that you have to do to maintenance, like a car. You have to regularly go in and get regular oil changes.
And rotate the tires.
Rotate the tires, things like that. A guitar is the same way, and people don't realize that. And then you go, well, I only spent $300 on the guitar, so why am I going to spend $50? At the time at Guitar Center, a regular setup was like $50 or something like that. And they're going, I spent $300 on the thing. I'm not spending another $100 a year.
Yeah.
Well, okay. Well, you just bought a $10,000 car. Then you got to do an oil change. That's $60. 4 times a year, depending on how much you drive.
Yeah.
But you're not going to question that at all.
Yeah. And then every 5 years, you got to do flushes and all that shit. Yeah. It's the same thing.
You're never gonna question any of that, and that's where talking with the customer, you start building a reputation with those customers. You start building a level of trust with those customers, and with an instrument being so personal, from a setup standpoint, I know guys that love their action super high. I know guys that love their action super low. And so, like, when I was at Guitar Center, anytime a guy was like, I was very specific, I like my action low.
Yeah.
I would set it super low to where it buzzed, and then I would back it off just a little bit until it didn't buzz anymore. And then before the guy took the guitar back, I said, go plug it in and play it. I want to make sure that your setup is good for you. All you told me was that you like it really low. I got it as low as it can go. And there were some guys that were like, dude, I didn't know it could play like this.
Yeah, exactly.
Holy shit. And then other guys that were like, it's a little too low.
A little too low, yeah.
I have a little bit heavier of a left hand.
Yep.
I'm still getting buzz in there. Action needs to come up a little bit. Okay, cool. Not a problem. And like I said, other guys that liked their setups really high. The only way you get that information is by actually talking with your customer.
Yeah.
I don't want somebody else talking for me. No way.
Well, and it's a little bit like, to bring it back to the car thing, it's a little bit of a disconnect too. Like when you're talking to the service department versus the actual mechanic, it's like you're getting like a middleman. You're playing telephone here,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's like now, I don't use a dealer for a mechanic. My wife's cousin is a certified mechanic.
Nice.
Runs his own business. So not only does she get to, chit chat with her cousin, I get to hang out and talk to him and get a little bit of knowledge about cars. I'm like, I don't ever want to be a mechanic, but I'd like to know a little bit more about cars, and so I can kind of pick his brain about stuff, and he's the guy that's doing the work on my car.
Yeah.
That gives me so much more trust. That gives me a nice warm and fuzzy feeling. It makes me feel good.
More calm. Yeah, it brings a calm upon you.
And I know that I'm not getting shafted. and that's the other part too, is I wouldn't want somebody going, well, you need a full refret and you need this and you need that and it's going to be $850, and then it comes back to me and go, dude, no, he just needs a level crown of polish, and maybe in another year he's going to need a refret.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense, and there are other aspects of it too. Pickups. I can't tell you how many times I had a guy when I was at I think I was still at the Tempe store. Yeah, I think I was still at the Tempe store. There was a dude that had a 70s 335 Gibson 335.
Yeah.
And he brought it in, and I looked at him like, dude, this thing is beautiful. This thing's absolutely beautiful. And he goes, what pickups do I need to put in there? I'm going, what?
Don't.
He goes, what pickups do I need to put in there? Everybody tells me that stock pickups are shit. I literally told him, I'm like, dude, I may get fired for this, but if you want to swap out pickups, I will buy those pickups for $150 right now.
Yeah.
And I will go over and I will put whatever pickups you want in there. $150 right now. He's like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
Dude,
you realize what you got, man.
Well, and then it was like, first of all, okay, let's get out of this is a 70s 335, and my knowledge, which is very limited on pickups and electronics. But anytime I hear 70s Gibson pickups, I'm like, I know they're going to be good.
Yeah.
I know they're going to be good. But I told him to take all that out of it. Why do you want to swap out the pickups? Well, because everybody says that stock pickups are shit. I went, okay, take that out of your head. Is there something about the tone? Is there something about these pickups that you don't like?
Yeah.
He's like, well, no, it's just people told me that I needed to swap them out because they're stock.
And now it's in his head.
Yeah. And I went, if nothing, even if they weren't great pickups, but you are happy with the tone and the sound that you're getting through your rig, through your amp.
There you go.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Get fucking Jack White, dude. Get the shit he's playing
right
through. Yeah, I think one of the songs that Rage won like a Grammy for was written. He said, I bought that amp it was written on at a pawn shop in Canada for $50. what do you want?
Yeah.
Like, it's what you do with it. You
know? It doesn't matter. I mean, there is a point where it does matter.
It does diminish. But shoot, we used to have a guy at the Tempe store come in, and he played with the Phoenix, I think the orchestra or something, like classically trained guitar player. And he would come in and grab the little Squire pink mini Strat for $100.
Was it the Hello Kitty?
It should have been at that point. He would just sit at the front of the store, just going to town on it, playing beautiful stuff. And it sounded great. And everybody would like do double takes because A, it's a pink guitar. And B, what's the price on that thing? $100? It's like, how is that possible? And it's like, right? Bro, it's him. It's him.
Mm-hmm. Sorry, I just got to check and see if there's anything rapidly going on.
No, you're good. I'm enjoying this Camacho. 1962.
Yeah, I still got work shit going, so I apologize.
Yeah, good. We've been here for a minute, man. I'm enjoying the education, though, man. These are awesome.
But yeah, it's when it comes to, I think everybody has their opinions, and at the end of the day, like with the pink
Strat, yeah.
Squire Strat, right? As long as everything works well, you can set up any guitar to play really well. Mm-hmm. Now, is it going to play? If you're talking about, like, I had a customer that brought in a Les Paul. He was picking up his Ibanez.
And he brought in
a Les Paul.
And he wanted it to play like...
And he wanted his Les Paul to play like the Ibanez.
No, come on.
I looked at him and I went, you are 10 ways... And this is... this is where I got into trouble with the, at the time, manager of said Tempe store.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Because the customer was arguing with me about, well, I can do it. I can get it to play like that. And I said, well, then you can take it and you can do it then.
Why are you here?
I don't have the time to do it. I'm too busy to do it, but I know it can be done. Then I went, it cannot be done. They will not play the same. They'll play well, respectively.
Yeah.
But you're not going to get one to play like the other.
No.
They're two totally different animals.
Yeah.
And he goes, well, you need to do it. And I know that I'm right. And the customer's always right. And I said, well, not today.
Today's the first time you're wrong.
And the manager at the time was basically how it had that hallway.
Yeah.
That went down to the manager's office.
Just echoes.
He was standing right around the corner, listening to the whole thing. And as soon as I went, well, not today because you're wrong.
Yeah.
He came around and he, basically told the customer, go ahead and take your guitars and we're not going to charge you. And, just go ahead and then pulled me into his office and chewed my ass out because, the typical customer's always right thing. And I went, no, the customer's not always right. No. If you're bringing me your guitars, you are expecting me to be the expert.
Exactly.
And when I'm in that situation, when I'm expected to be the expert and I'm telling him I cannot do it, okay, you can question my skills and go, well, then you're a shit tech. I go, maybe.
No, man, that's asking the freaking Nissan car I have here to perform like a Tesla.
Mm-hmm.
You can't. And not saying that, comparable.
Well, I don't know. I don't know. The Nissan might be able to outperform.
Hell no, dude! I drove a Tesla yesterday for the first time.
Oh, did you?
Oh my god!
Really?
God, it doesn't seem real. It doesn't seem real, dude.
What?
I freaking hit 80 miles an hour in like 3 seconds, and there was no like no, it was just you go. Yeah, dude, it was awesome. And then grabbing this, and I don't know. This is a rental. Because the other vehicle doesn't have the updated tags, and we're waiting on it to work vehicle. And this thing, dude, if I hit the gas, there must be some sort of restriction on it from the rental group
on this
company
thing?
or something like that, where you can't like speed up.
I'm
fast.
sure it's got a governor.
I'm sure. Well, but it's weird. I could understand like not to get it to go over like 95 miles an hour or something like that, but to not be able to get up to speed, like there's some times where I'm like trying to like squeeze the gap and it's just not working out.
Yes. So I take that back. Apparently there was an expectation. Well, you got here and had to set up.
Yeah, I got here, I had to set up. My computer had to update. And,
so we got like a 45-minute late start.
Yeah,
so,
we did. But that's what people think. It's like, oh yeah, go as long as you want, because they don't realize that it's just a conversation, and this can go anywhere.
Oh, it can go anywhere. This could go into wee hours of the morning very easily.
Easily, man.
Very.
Well, brother, I am gonna need to get a pipe from you, so we'll talk about maybe getting one built.
Well. That's what I was going to ask you earlier. Of these pipes here, is there any shape that you're seeing that you're like, I really like that? And then if it's something that I can't do, I'll tell you, fuck no, I can't do that shit. So
no, I'm digging the looks of pretty much all of these. I kind of like the throwback feel of these, but then I kind of want something like super obnoxious, like maybe something.
Well, I don't
like,
make those.
Maybe something that would come down like here, like crazy arc.
Yeah, I don't make. So look at the ones that I pointed out that I made.
Yes. Well, hey, why don't you do one of your builds?
You want one of the rough nuts?
Yeah, let's do something like that.
Okay.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Hell yeah.
Cool.
It's all you.
Yeah, I got you, man.
Sweet. Hey, well, tell everybody where we can be followed. Where are you at?
I am over on Instagram, the Arizona Gym, I believe it is. The _Arizona_gym. Over on Instagram. And then on YouTube, Arizona Gym. And then I also have my music and all that stuff over at the James Welch on Instagram and on YouTube. And that's about all the places that I'm at.
Perfect, man. No, it's awesome.
Yeah.
I had a great time, brother.
Oh, this was awesome. This was, I had zero expectations, and because you were like, no. So, do you want, me to provide you any background or anything? You're like, no, we're just gonna go and hang out and chit chat and just, like you said, kind of catch up, and just have a conversation.
That's all it is, man.
And I went, okay, well, we'll see how this goes. And man, this has been awesome.
Hell yeah, brother.
This has been awesome,
guys.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Pick up a pipe. And check out his music, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Until next time. See you later, brother.
See ya.